Hey everyone, this is the Math Nexus, and today we are going to start with exercise 3.4 of the new, third edition of Pemberton's O level and IGCSE AddMaths book. So the thing is, before we start in this exercise, there's some prerequisite knowledge you should know, and for that, I'll just take up an example question which is in the book, work example 6. So we have the something like x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. And so in the previous exercise, we learned that we could represent any form. So just take as an example x minus 3 multiplied by x minus x squared minus 3x plus 5. Oops, sorry, x minus 3 multiplied by x squared minus 3x plus 5. And that, when multiplied, would make up the factor for what? A cubic equation. Okay. And this could be further simplified to x minus 3 multiplied by x minus a and x minus b, where a and b are the factors of x squared minus 3x plus 15. So the basic thing is that if we have a cubic equation, we can factorize it to x minus a, x minus b, or x minus or x plus c, whatever you want. Okay. So what this tells us that these three multiplied would give us this cubic equation. And so what exercise 3.4 mainly focuses on is to, find out the factors for this equation so that we have, so that we can easily factorize this. Okay, so how do we factorize this? Well, there are three methods. Let me just label this up here. Method 1, then there's method 2, and then there's method 3. Okay, now that we have this, we know that method 1 is called the hit and trial method. Hit and trial. Okay, so now one thing you only have to focus at is that whatever you do, you have to use the hit and trial method while factorizing a cubic equation. And why is that? We'll get to it, but the thing is, we actually have to find three factors out of this. Okay, three factors have to be found. Okay, there might be repeating factor or whatever, but essentially we are going to get three factors. Okay, but the thing is, out of these three factors, the first factor always the first factor is either given in the question or we have to find out with hit and trial. Okay, okay, the second and third factors we can find from method 2 and 3, whatever you find feasible. But the first factor, I mean, we cannot continue without the first factor, and so you have to find out the first factor with the hit and trial method. So how does the hit and trial method work basically? So we have x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. Okay, now we have discussed in the previous lectures that when we have a factor, that would mean if we input that value of x into the equation, we would get what? 0. So we can just, equate this to 0 and then solve the equation. How do we solve the equation? So now, one thing in the hit and trial which is really important is to look at the constant. What's the constant value? The value which is independent of any variable, you could say. So what is the value which is independent of any variable in this equation? It's 15, as we can see here. So now the first and foremost step is to find out the factors of the constant term. So that we have the factors which would be, in fact, let me do it here. Now that I have the factors of 15, how do I find it? We take the LCM. 5, 3 is a 15, 3 ones are 3, and 1 ones are 1. So we have three factors of 15, which are 5, 3, and 1. Now these factors, we just write them out, factors. Now we take the positive and negative of both of all these factors. So positive 5 and negative 5, positive and negative 3, and positive and negative 1. So these, how many are there? 2, 2, 2. There are 6 in total factors. And now that we have these factors, we are going to input these factors into what? Into this cubic equation. We replace the values of x with these factors, and we find out what our actual factors are. Now the thing is, I've got positive negative 5, positive negative 3, positive negative 1. It's not essential that all of these are going to be the factors. Three of these will be the factor, or two of these, or one of these if there is a repeating factor, obviously. But in most cases, there are three factors. Now, how are we going to find out which factor is correct or not? Well, we could do the simple thing. We could just input it. We input each and every one of these factors and find out which would equate to 0. For example, I have when x is equals to negative 1. Let's take negative 1 first. When x is equals to negative 1, we would have 1 cube minus 3 multiplied by 1 squared is 1, minus 13 multiplied by 1 plus 15 is equals to 0. Okay, then we have 1 minus 3 minus 13 plus 15 is equals to 0. The negative 3 minus 13 is negative 16 plus 1 is negative 15 plus 15 is equals to 0. And here we have it, 0 is equals to 0. So we can say x minus 1 is a factor, and we take negative 1 or whatever you have to do. Then we go on to positive 1. Okay, we see we input it, yeah, my bad. I just took out the factor of positive 1 here. We are going to take negative 1. My bad, sorry. I took positive 1 and just didn't notice it. So when x equals to negative 1, now let's take the factor negative 1. So negative 1 cube would be negative 1 again, but negative 3 multiplied by negative 1, negative 13 multiplied by negative 1, and positive 15 is equals to 0. This would be negative 1 minus, plus 3 plus 13 plus 15 is equals to 0. Now we obviously know 15 plus 13 is 6, 7, 8, 28. 28 plus 3 is 31. 31 minus 3 is 30. So 30 is not equals to 0. Okay. So that tells us that x minus 1 is not a factor while x equals to positive 1 is. And then we have to repeat the step for all of these factors of the constant that we found out so that we could find the right answer. Okay, so now you would just go on with all of these factors and find out which factor is correct and which factor is not correct until you have gone through all of these, and you are obviously going to get three factors here. Okay, so that's the first method, hit and try. For now, I'm just going to take one of the factors, which is x minus 1, and that's because we have when x equals to positive 1. So when x minus 1 is equals to 0, so x equals to positive 1. So the initial factor is x minus 1. Okay, now that we have this factor, just wait a second. Yeah, so we have x minus 1 as a factor. For the rest of the factors, I'm going to use the other methods. Okay. For the second one, now I just told you that the first factor is essential in everyone thing. So that's why I'm just going to continue with that. So you are always going to find out the first factor with hit and trial, or either it's going to be given in the question. So for method 2, we have again the same thing, x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. But now we have we are going to simply take out the first factor, and we are going to divide the whole equation by it. So x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. And then we are going to simply do the long division here and find out the answer. We have done the long division in the previous exercises, so I won't go in great detail about this, just going to solve it. So how do we do long division? We simply x cubed divided by x is going to give us x squared. Let me make a rough work portion here. Okay, so x squared multiplied by x minus 1 is going to give us x cubed minus x squared. So we are going to get x cubed minus x squared. This would become positive, this would become negative. We subtract this. Negative 3x squared plus x squared, it would give us negative 2x squared minus 13x. So negative 2x squared divided by x is going to give us negative 2x, and then negative 2x multiplied by x minus 1 would give us negative 2x squared plus 2x. Again, same here, negative 2x squared plus 2x. And why did that come? When it is multiplied by negative 2x. Positive and negative here. In fact, negative here. Cancel this down. This becomes negative 13. Minus 2 is going to give us what? Negative 15x. So negative 15x plus 15 here. This comes down. Negative 15x divided by x is going to give us negative 15 multiplied by x minus 1 would give us negative 15x plus 15. Again, we copy this down here, negative 15x plus 15. Why did that come? Because we multiplied by negative 15. Subtracted, negative becomes positive and positive becomes negative. So this and this cancels down, and we have x minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 2x minus 15. Okay, now simply we have a quadratic equation and x minus 1, we could just simply solve this quadratic equation. How do we solve the quadratic equation? Simple, x squared minus 2x minus 15. We have to find out the factors of 15, for which we get 2, and those are 5 and 3. So x squared minus 5x plus 3x minus 15 is equals to 0. X as a common, x minus 5 here, plus 3 as a common, x minus 5 here is equals to 0. X plus 3 and x minus 5 are also factors. Okay, so we could say from this x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15 is going to be equals to x plus, sorry, first what is the first vector? X minus 1, then x plus 3, and then x minus 5. Okay, and then when we are going to multiply all of these three, we are going to get this cubic equation. So that basically is going to be our answer if we are simply going to factorize this equation. Okay. Now the thing is, the method 2 is the most used method by me, the long division one. Let me just write this here. Oops. The long division method is the most used one by me, because I find it the most easiest. It's up to you which method you choose. Just be very fluent in that method, because this is one of the most crucial part in additional mathematics. Like you handle cubic equations, quadratic equations in almost every chapter. Okay, now going for method 3, which is what we call the comparison method. I do not really like this one, but it depends on you, to be honest. Whatever you find easier. I do not find this easy as compared to the long division one, but if you find that so, you can use it. The comparison method. So now, we have got the factors. Now we are going to just find out the the same factors from the comparison method. So again, I told you the first factor we should have it at all costs from the hit and trial method. And what was the first factor? X minus 1. Okay. Now we do know x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15 is our resultant equation. So basically, if we have something, just put random values for ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, we have a quadratic equation. When we multiply it by the first factor x minus 1, we should get x cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15, obviously. Okay, so we do know that. But now how we only have to find out the values of a, b, and c. Okay, so that's what we are going to do. What I normally do in this method is I just multiply all of these things, and then we compare the value of a and b and everything. So first, let me just multiply it. Ax squared plus bx, ax squared, sorry, ax squared when multiplied by x would become ax cubed plus bx multiplied by x would be x squared plus cx um, minus ax squared minus bx plus minus c is equals to dot dot dot. We're not going to solve it for this one. Now we are going to go up ax cubed, simplify this as much as possible, plus what is the factors for x squared? B minus a x squared minus bx minus c. Okay, now this whole is supposed to be equals to what? X cubed minus 3x squared minus 13x plus 15. Okay, now we have got this up. Now we are just simply going to compare it. So we know that ax cubed should be equals to x cubed because that's all there is for the cube part. Okay, so we take the cube part and compare them. We know that ax, we basically are breaking down the equation. Now we take the cube part, we take the squared part, we take the x part, and then we take the constant part and compare them. So ax cubed is equals to x cubed. So we know x cube and x cube cancels down. And how do they cancel down? By the way, a lot of students make this mistake. When they cancel down, they say a is equals to 0. But that is not the case at all. Why is that? Because we have ax cubed, a is equals to x cubed divided by x cubed. So whenever we have something divided by something, we get 1, not 0. 1 divided by 1 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 3 divided by 3 is 1. So we just cancel this down and we get 1 over 1. So a is equals to 1. We found the value of a. Now we compare the value for x squared. B minus a is equals to negative 3. Okay, we could just simply just take this x squared and 3x squared, and then it's going to cancel down in the end. So b minus 1 is going to be equals to negative 3, and b is equals to what? Negative 3 plus 1, which is negative 2. Okay, then we have b is equals to, sorry, negative bx is equals to negative 13. We already have found out b, so no need to do that. Then we have c, which is equals to what? C is equals to positive 15. Okay, and that's it. Now we have the equation. Just simply compare this x minus 1 multiplied by ax squared. What is a? It's positive 1 x squared minus what is bx? Plus bx. Plus bx, what is the value of b? It is negative 2, so this becomes negative 2x plus c. What is the value of c? We have 15. So x squared minus 2x plus 15, and this is the exact same equation as you can see as we have found out in the method 2 from long division. X squared minus 2x plus 15 is the same here, and then we could simply just again factorize x squared minus 2x plus 15 to give us x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 3, x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 5 is equals to x cubed. minus a half 3x squared plus minus 13x plus 15. Okay, so that's how it is. It's that simple. Now we have three methods. It's our choice. It normally doesn't come in the question, that you have to solve each one from this method or that method. It's mostly your personal preference. But you should know all of these three methods. You never know what happens in the paper. They might ask you something like do this from the comparison method or something like that. So always be prepared, do all three of the methods, but lean on to something which is much more easier to you. Okay, so we have discussed right now that method one, which is the hidden trial method, is the most important method, I would say. Why is that? Because it helps you find out the first factor. Okay, and the first factor, without the first factor, you cannot use the method two and three. Okay, I know the hidden trial method is, kind of time consuming. So that's why what you have to do in most cases is find out the first factor with the hidden trial method and then the rest of the two factors by method two or three. What I like to do personally, it's not your choice. I generally use method one to find out my first factor with the hidden trial method. Then I go on to the long division method to find out my answer. And that's what I'll do in this exercise 3.4. I won't be using the comparison method in most of this exercise, but I'll try to solve one or two questions so that this could be a memory refresh for you to how to do this type of questions. So this is it. This is the prerequisite knowledge before this exercise 3.4. And if you do understand this, you're going to understand the rest of the exercise easily. So if you do not, just go back, watch this again, or just grab the concept. If you are going to grab this concept, it's going to be a piece of cake. The rest of the exercise is really easy. Okay, so the first question is question number 1a, which tells us to show that x minus 1 is a factor of 2x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 1. How do we show that something is a factor? First of all, x minus 1 is equals to 0. So we got x is equals to positive 1 is a factor. Okay. Now we have to show that this is a factor, and how we'll show that if x is equals to 1, if x is equals to 1 is a factor, the equation will be equal to 0 when this value is input. Value of x is input. Okay, so again, now we're going to input this value of x, and if our answer is 0, it will tell that x minus 1 is a factor. So 2 multiplied by 1 cube minus 1 squared minus 2 multiplied by 1 plus 1. Okay, so this is going to be equal to 2 minus 1 minus 2 plus 1 is equals to 0. 1 and 1 cancels out, 2 and 2 cancels down, 0 is equals to 0. And we can say that hence proved. Okay, so now they have told us hence factorize 2x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 15 completely. And what that does mean is completely means that we do not have a quadratic equation. We are going to find out each of the three factors respectively. So how are we going to factorize this completely? Well, I'm going to use the long division method because I already know the first factor, which is x minus 1. So I'm just going to use my long division method here. Okay, so x minus 1 and 2x cubed minus x squared minus 2x plus 1. Okay. In fact, what I would prefer to do is just take this up here, because if this goes long, we can just simply continue. Okay, this is part B. In fact, let's just take this up here like that. Okay, yeah, make a rough graph section. Okay, so first of all, 2x cubed divided by x would give us what? 2x cubed divided by x is going to give us 2x squared, and 2x squared multiplied by x minus 1 would give us 2x cubed minus 2x squared. Okay, so 2x squared here, 2x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. We subtract this, and this becomes x squared minus 2x. Then x squared divided by x is going to give us x. X multiplied by x minus 1 is going to be x squared minus x. So x squared minus x here. Why is that? Because we multiplied by positive x. This becomes negative, this becomes positive when subtracting, and then this cancels down to give us negative 2x plus x is going to be negative x. So negative x plus 1 is going to give us negative x divided by x is negative 1. Negative 1 multiplied by x minus 1 is going to give us negative x plus 1. So here's negative 1, negative x plus 1 here. This becomes positive and this becomes negative. Cancels down and we have 0. So we have x minus 1 multiplied by 2x squared plus x minus 1. Now this would be partial factorization, but they've told us to factorize it what? Completely. And to factorize it completely, we have to factorize the quadratic equation too. Otherwise, the examiner won't give us the full marks. Okay. Now proceeding on, we get first factorize 2x squared plus x minus 1. So we have negative 2 factors. So 2x squared plus 2x minus x minus 1 is equals to 0. 2x is the common, 2x as the common x plus 1 minus 1 as the common x plus 1 is equals to 0. 2x minus 1 and x plus 1 is equals to 0. So these are the factors. And so our final answer would be x minus 1, 2x minus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 1 multiplied by x plus 1 is equals to our final answer. And that's it for question number 1A. Proceeding on to question number 2. Okay, question number 2A. X cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x minus 10. And we have to factorize these cubic expressions completely. Now we have what? Now again, what we do first of all, let me just make partitions here. So what we do first of all is again take 10, take out the factors of 10. 10, the factors of 10 are 5, 2 is a 10, 2 1s are 2, and 1 1s are 1. So our factors are positive and negative 5, positive and negative 2, and positive and negative 1. Okay, so we have these factors. Now what we are going to do is just input these. When x equals to negative 1, hit and trial. That's what it is. Just input the value and trial if it is correct or not. So negative 1 cube is negative 1 plus 2 multiplied by negative 1 squared is positive 2, minus 3 multiplied by minus 1 is going to be positive 3, minus 10 is equals to 0. So negative 1 plus 5 minus 10 is not equals to 0. So this is incorrect. So x minus 1 is not a factor. When x equals to positive 1, we have X cube is 1 plus 2 minus 3 minus 10 is equals to 0. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 minus 3 minus 10 is not equals to 0. So x is equals to positive 1 is also not a factor here. Okay. Now proceeding on to 2. When x equals to positive 2. When x equals to positive 2, we have got 2 cube is 8 plus 2 multiplied by 4 is 8 minus 3 multiplied by 2 is 6 minus 10 is equals to 0. 16 minus 16 is equals to 0. 0 is equals to 0. And that proves that x equals to positive 2 is a factor. So one of our factors is x minus 2 is a factor. Now that we have got the first factor, I'm going to use the long division method to find the rest of the factors. Okay, so we have got x cubed plus 2x squared minus 3x minus 10. And then what we are going to do is take x minus 2 here and divide this. Before I divide this, let me make a partition here. And let me make a rough work section. In fact, let me make it for the whole of it. Like that. So x cubed divided by x is going to give us x squared multiplied by x minus 2 is going to give us what? X cubed minus 2x squared. Okay, so x cubed minus 2x squared here, also minus 2x squared. We get negative, we get positive because we are subtracting it. And on the above side, we get x squared. Subtract this, we get, cancel this down, 4x squared minus 3x. 4x squared divided by x is going to give us 4x. 4x multiplied by x minus 2 is going to give us 4x squared minus 8x. Now that we have this, we are going to get x squared plus 4x here, and we're going to add 4x squared minus 8x here. Negative and positive, that would give us, cancel this down, negative 3 plus 8 is 5x, and 5x minus 10. 5x divided by x is going to give us 5, and x minus multiplied by x minus 2 is going to give us 5x minus 10 again. So this comes positive 5 here, and then 5x minus 10. Minus and positive, cancel this down. We get x minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus 4x plus 5. Okay, so now this is partially factorized. Now we have to factorize this completely, and how we'll do that is we'll multiply x minus 2 multiplied by x squared. In fact, let me just factorize this first. Squared plus 4x plus 5 is equal to 0. Okay, so I just found out these values of x squared plus 4x plus 5, and I found out that I'm getting iota values, and hence we can just say that x squared plus 4x plus 5 is going to give us, in fact, I'll just prove it to you right now. X squared plus 4x plus 5 is equal to 0, a is equal to 1, b is equal to positive 4, c is equal to negative 5. Okay, sorry, positive 5. Minus b is going to give us negative 4, plus minus under root of b squared is going to give us 16, minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by 5, divided by 2a, which is 2 multiplied by 1, which is 2. So simplify this, negative 4 plus minus under root of 4 5 is 20, 16 minus 20. And what is 16 minus 20? 16 minus 20 is negative 4, unfortunately, and negative 4 divided by 2. And as you can see, we have a negative 4 inside the under root, okay, which is, if you do not know till now, any negative value inside an under root would give an iota value, or you could say it might give an iota value, or it might give something which is incorrect, not applicable. So just miss this part. If you cannot factorize further, that's the most we can factor it out. So x minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus 4x plus 5 are the factors. So this is going to be your answer, the final answer, because that's the most we can factorize this. So that's what we say, we have factorized this completely. Okay, so we have done part A only right now. For part B, we have x cubed plus 4x squared minus 4x minus 16. Then we have to, take out the LCM of negative 16. We get 16 here. 2 8s are 16. 2 4s are 8. 2 2s are 4 and 2 1s are 2. So we have got only two factors here. Factors are 1 positive negative 1, positive negative 2, and positive negative 16 also, in fact. Why didn't I take that in mind? Okay, so positive negative 16 might also be the factor. So when we have got this, when x is equals to negative 1, okay, we have got x equals to negative 1 cube is going to give us negative 1 plus 4x squared is going to give us positive 4 minus 4 multiplied by negative 1 is going to give us positive 4 minus 16 is equals to 0. So 4 plus 4 is 8, 8 minus 1 is 7, 7 minus 16 is not equals to 0. So when x equals to negative 2, let me just, sorry, positive 1, mark this as not equals to 0. We have got what, x equals to positive 1, we have got 1 cube plus 4 multiplied by 1 minus 4 minus 16 is equals to 0. Minus 4 minus 16, minus 4 plus 4 cancels out, 1 minus 16 is not equals to 0. This is also not a factor. So when x is equals to positive 2, we have 2 cube is 8 plus 4 4 4 is 16 minus 4 2 is 8 minus 16 is equals to 0. And yes, 8 and 8 cancels down, 16 and 16 cancels down, 0 is equals to 0. X plus x equals to 2 is a factor, which tells us x minus 2 is a factor. Now that we have x minus 2 as a factor, simply do the long divisions method, x minus 2 here, and then we have what, x cubed plus 4x squared minus 4x minus 16. Simply simplify this, divide this, whatever. X cubed divided by x is x squared multiplied by x minus 2 is going to give us x cubed minus 2x squared. So x squared here, x cubed minus 2x squared. Negative here, positive here. Cancel this down, this becomes 6x squared minus 4x. So that we have this 6x squared divided by x is 6x squared divided by x is 6x. X minus 2 is equal to 6x squared minus 6 to the 12x. Now again here 6x squared minus 12 is x. Why does that come here? Because we multiplied by positive 6x. Subtract this, add this, cancels down. 12 minus 4 is what? 8x minus 16. 8x divided by x is going to give us 8 multiplied by x minus 2 is going to be equals to 8x minus 16. So we have got 8, what have we got here? 8x minus 16 as it is. And why is that here? Because we add positive 8 here. So this cancels down, this becomes positive, and here we have it. X minus 1, sorry, x minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus 6x plus 8. Now the thing is, I have to do a lot of questions, A to H and everything, the whole exercise. So I'm going to use my calculator to factorize the quadratic equation. However, if you do not know how to factorize quadratic equations, go watch my previous lectures. I've done that in great detail. But what I'm going to do now is simply going to use my calculator so that, you know, it becomes faster for me, the process becomes faster for me. However, in the examination, do take care that you solve these questions step by step. Do not try to use a calculator as less as possible in the examination. Just use your calculator mostly for, what purposes? For checking purposes if your answer is correct or not. um, but show the examiner the whole method, because if you're aiming for a distinction or something, show each and every step as you go through the way. So x is equals to, first factor I'm getting is x plus 2, and the second factor I'm getting is x plus 4, and that is your answer for question number 2, part B. Now I'm going to raise this for part C and D. Okay, so for part C, we have 2x cubed minus 9x squared minus 18x. Okay, so the first thing we can notice here, we have no constant value, meaning there is no value which is independent of the variable x. So we have a constant which is called plus 0, minus 0, whatever it is. We do not have any constant. So the only option we have for the constant is that x is equal to 0, because there is no constant. And we always know that 0 is divisible by only 0. Okay, except if you go into the infinity part, that's something advanced. But for now, just remember, when you have no constant, you can say that one of our factors is what x equals to 0. And when x equals to 0, that means x minus 0. And eventually that means x is equals to x. Okay, so the first factor we have right now is x. When the constant is 0, the first factor we have is x. So x is the first factor. And if you want it in a more oversimplified term, you could say x minus 0 or x plus 0 is a factor. Okay, so that would mean when we have one factor x, we would just simply 2x cubed minus 9x squared to minus 18x divided by x. Now, normally we would have done this by long division, but for now, this is really simple. So everything divided by x would just mean that the power of x would be subtracted by 1. So 2x squared minus 9x minus 18. Now that we have a quadratic equation, we are going to factorize it and find the other factors. So 2x squared minus 9x minus 18, if we assume it to be 0 for now. So we have got, or in fact, if you even don't have to assume it for 0. So now that we've got this, we are going to factorize this. 18 multiplied by 2 is going to give us 36. So 36, the factors for 36, 3 ones are 3, 3 2 is 6. 4 is a 12, 2 2s are 4, and 2 ones are 2. And we have to make 9 out of this. 2 is 6, 3 2 is 9. Yes. So 2x squared minus 12x plus 3x minus 18. And then we factorize this to x as the common, x minus or 6 plus 3 as the common, x minus 6. Okay, Now simplify this. 2x plus 3 and x minus 6 would be the factors for this quadratic equation. Now that we have these factors, we have the first factor 2. So x multiplied by 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 6 would be your answer for factorizing this cubic expression completely. Okay, so now that we've got this one for part B, which is x multiplied by 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 6, is just going to proceed on to the next part. Okay, for part D, we have x cubed minus 8x squared plus 5x plus 14. Okay, for the first one, we always have to find out from the hit and trial method. And for the hit and trial method, the constant is the most variable part because the factors for the constant are going to give us the values for the hit and trial. So what is 14 divisible by? It's divisible by 2. It's plus minus 2 in fact. Then it's divisible by, it's not divisible by 4, it's not divisible by 5, it's not divisible by 6, it's divisible by positive or negative 7. And that's all we're going to take for now. Then what are we going to do? And we put when x is equals to positive 2. Now we are going to use the hit and trial method. Positive 2. Oh, by the way, we can also use positive and negative 1 here. So I'm going to use positive 1 for now. So 1 minus 8 plus 5 plus 14. What does that give us? That is not equals to 0. Okay. Okay, so when x equals to negative 1. When x equals to negative 1, so negative 1 minus 8 minus 5 plus 14. So that would give me 8 plus 5 plus 1, and that is equals to 0. So our first factor is x minus 1, or you could say x plus 1 is a factor. Okay. And how do we get this x plus 1? I hope you know till now is that when x minus 1 is x equals to negative 1, that would mean x plus 1 is equals to 0. And that is how we get this factor. Okay, I hope everything is clear. Now proceeding on to the second step when doing these type of questions, and that is long division. Okay, you can do this by comparing the coefficients, whatever method you find easier. I find the long division method easier from my side. X cubed minus 8x squared plus 5x plus 14. Okay, now that we have this, we're just going to divide this up. Let me make a row for each section. So x cubed divided by x would give us x squared. So x squared multiplied by x plus 1 would give us what? X cubed plus x squared. So x squared here, x cubed plus x squared. So this becomes negative, this becomes negative. Subtract this cancels down. Negative 8 minus 1 is negative 9x squared. Take positive 5x down, so positive 5x comes down here. Again, do the same step. Negative 9x squared divided by x would give us negative 9x. Negative 9x multiplied by x plus 1 would give us negative 9x squared minus 9x. So here again, x squared minus 9x, so negative 9x squared minus 9x. This becomes positive, this becomes positive, this cancels down. Positive 5 plus 9 is going to give us 14x. Then this 14 comes down here to give us positive 14. Positive 14x divided by x is going to give us 14 multiplied by x plus 1, 14x plus 14. So again, here we get positive 14, and 14x plus 14 here. Subtract this, cancels down, and we get nothing. So as the remainder. So we are going to say that x squared, wait a second, x squared minus 9x plus 14 multiplied by x plus 1 would make up the equation x cubed minus 8x squared plus 5x plus 14. However, we need to factorize this completely. And in order to do that, we have to turn this quadratic equation into two linear equations. And how will we do that? Let me just get x squared minus 9x plus 14. So what are the factors of 14, 7, and 2? So 7 and 2 can make 9. So x squared minus 9x plus 14, let me just write that down separately. Then I would get x squared minus 7x minus 2x plus 14. X is the common, x minus 7 minus 2 is the common, x minus 7 again here. So x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 7 would make up x squared minus 9x plus 14. And x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 7 multiplied by x plus 1 would be our answer for this part. And that's it. Okay. X minus 7, x plus 1, x minus 2. And proceeding on to part E, in fact. Let me just erase this up. I hope everything is clear. If anything is unclear or needs attention or something I'm missing, any method or something, please do write in the comments so that I can improve them from the rest of my lectures. Okay, for part E, we have 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 17x plus 12. Okay, now that we have this, again, we are going to use the constant to find out the factors. For the constant, we have positive and negative 1, positive and negative 2. 12 is also divisible by positive and negative 6. And not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10, not 11, and positive and negative 12. Okay. So when x is equals to positive 1, so 2 minus 13 plus 17 plus 12. And that is not at all equals to 0. X is equals to negative 1, we have 2 multiplied by a negative 2 minus 13 minus 17 plus 12. That is also not equals to 0. When x is equals to positive 2, we have 2 cube is 8, 8 to the 16. 16 minus 2 to the 4, 13 multiplied by 4 is 52. So negative 52 plus 17 multiplied by 2 is going to give us what? 34 plus 12. Okay, so 34 plus 12 plus 16 is equals to 62. So this is not also equals to 0. So when x is equals to negative 2, what do we have? When x equals to negative 2, this is going to be negative 8, negative 16 here. 2 squared is equals to 4, so negative 13 multiplied by 4. Sorry, negative 13 multiplied by 4 is going to give us again negative 52, the same thing here. And then positive 17 multiplied by negative 2, negative 34. So that's 12. That is not at all equals to 0. Let me just go on again. Wait a second. Just give me 2 seconds here. 2x cubed 2 x cube minus 13 x squared plus 17x plus 12 into x cube minus 13x squared. And then what we're going to do, x is equals to positive 10. So I've checked this value, not here. Then we have checked for x equals to negative 2. Let me recheck that again. And let me recheck for x equals to positive 1 and x equals to negative 1. So right now we are going on this right path. So again, now let's check for x equals to positive 6. Okay, so x equals to positive 6, we have got 2 multiplied by 6 cube. And let me just use the calculator for this. Positive 6, no, negative 6, and that's again no. And then let me just try 12 again. Oops. Okay, so I've actually checked from all the values, and it's not from x equals to positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 6, or positive negative 12. And I've checked this through the calculator. By the way, if you do not know this method, I'm using the Casio, cut this one. I'm using the Casio FX991EX, and in that you just have to write the equation as it is, 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 17x plus 12. And I use the calc button, CALC, which means calculation. It is right below the alpha button. Okay, and if you do that, you can just set up the value for x and find the answer for that equation. And I've checked for all these values and I couldn't find the answer. And then I reached on the conclusion that another factor for positive or negative 12 is actually positive and negative 1 over 2. And that is quite common here in. Okay, for question number 2, part E, in fact, let me just state this up. We have 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 17x plus 12. So what are we going to do for that? First of all, we have the factors. So what are 12 multiplied by 2? 24. So we have positive and negative 2. Then we have positive negative 3. Then we have, then what do we have? And that's it. I think these would be enough. Let's just try these two first. And so now what I'm going to do is just input when x is equals to positive 2. We have 2 multiplied by x cube. And wait a second. Okay, so when we input x equals to positive 2, we have 2 multiplied by 2 cube, which would be 8, minus 13 multiplied by 2 squared, which would be 4, plus 17 multiplied by 2 plus 12. Now I would just equate this into my calculator. 2 multiplied by 8 minus 13 multiplied by 4. 13 multiplied by 4 plus 17 multiplied by 2 plus 12, and that is equal to 10. And 10 is not at all equals to 0. So x equals to positive 2 is not taken. When x equals to negative 3, we have, negative 2. We have 2 multiplied by negative 2 cube is negative 8, minus 13 multiplied by 2 squared, negative 2 squared, which would become positive 4, plus 17 multiplied by negative 2 plus 12. Let me just input into this calculator. 8 2 is 16, negative 16, Negative 13 multiplied by 4. In fact, positive 13 multiplied by, because negative multiplied by negative would be positive. And this is not also equals to 0. Proceeding on to the next one, which is when x is equals to positive 3. Okay, so when x equals to positive 3, we have 2 multiplied by 3 cube minus 13 multiplied by 3 squared is 9 plus 17 multiplied by 3 plus 12. Okay, so 3 cube is 3, 3 is 9, 9, 3 is 12. Sorry, 9, 3 is 27. My bad. Okay, so let's simplify this. 3 cube is 27. 27 multiplied by 2 minus 13 multiplied by 9 plus 17 multiplied by 3 plus 12 is equals to 0. So this would be a factor. X minus 3 is a factor. Now that we know one factor from the trial and error method, what we can do is simply just use this to find the rest of it. Okay, so x minus 3 here. Then we have the rest of the equation, 2x cubed minus 13x squared plus 17x plus 12. Okay, now that we've got this, divide this. I hope you know this method by now, the division method. If you don't, you can watch the previous examples. I'm going to just go fast now. Okay, so 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by 2x, x minus 3. So 2x squared would become 2x cubed minus 3 to the 6 x squared. And we just cancel this out. Negative becomes positive and positive becomes negative. Negative 13 plus 16 is going to give, negative 13 plus 16 is going to give us negative 7x squared plus 17x plus 12. In fact, just write it till 17x. Okay, so negative 7x squared divided by x is negative 7x. Just put this down here. Negative 7x multiplied by x minus 3 is negative 7x squared minus 7 3 is 21 becomes positive 21x. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. So cancel this down. 17 minus 21. 17 minus 21 is negative 4x plus 12. Okay, now that we have negative 4x plus 12, let me just simplify this. Negative 4x plus 12, negative 4 divided by x is negative 4 again. Negative 4x plus 4 3s is 12. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. Divided up here. This cancels down and this cancels out. So the quadratic equation we have is x minus 3 multiplied by 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. Now I'm going to simplify this further. X minus 3, I'm going to just simply use my calculator for the simplification. Not going to go in great details. I mean, you already know how to break up a quadratic equation into two more factors. Just find its root and you can just simply solve it. I'm going to use my calculator. Set up a polynomial equation 2x squared minus 7x minus 4. So we have x minus 4 and x minus 4. And then we have x equals to 1 over. I'm just emphasizing this so that you could know. Some students just fail to understand that if you have a factor x is equal to negative 1 over 2, you could write this as 2x plus 1, because end of the day this 2 goes there, it becomes 2x equals to negative 1, and then 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. And that's how you make a factor, 2x plus 1. So this is your answer for part E. Okay. Now proceeding on to part F. Let me just make a partition here for clean. Okay. Okay. Part F, 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 19x plus 6. Okay, now this 6, so we're going to just take x is equals to positive negative 2, x is equals to positive negative 3. Just take these two first, or you could even take x equals to positive negative 1. Take these first, and then you can just proceed on if you don't find it. But I'm going to just take in consideration these three. I think we'll probably find the answer. So 3 multiplied when x equals to negative 1. We have when x equals to negative 1, 3 multiplied by negative 1 plus 2 multiplied by 1, positive 1 minus 19 multiplied by negative 1 plus 6. So this would become negative 3, negative 3 plus 2 plus 19 plus 6. And this is not equals to 0. Same for x equals to positive 1. We take 3 multiplied by 1 plus 2 multiplied by 1 minus 19 multiplied by 1 plus 6 is equals to, let's check if it is equals to 0. 3 plus 2 minus 19 plus 6. And that is not equals to 0. Then we proceed on to when x is equals to positive 2. Okay, so when x is positive 2, we have 3 multiplied by 2 squared, which is 2 cube, which is 8, plus 2 multiplied by x squared, which is 4, minus 19 multiplied by 2 plus 6. Now simplify this. So 3 multiplied by 8 is 24, plus 4 to is 8, minus 19 multiplied by 2, and plus 6, and that is equal to 0. So we can say that x minus 2 is a factor. And by the way, for those of you who do not understand, let me just clarify it again. When I say when x is equal to 2 and there is positive 2, then the factor would be x minus 2. And how is that? Well, when x equals to 2, if we take 2 on the other side, we get x minus 2 is equals to 0. And that's basically the factor for which the value of our equation would be equal to 0. So that's why x minus 2 becomes a factor. Okay, so x minus 2 is a factor. Then we divide this by the equation called, where is it? 3x cubed plus 2x squared minus 19x plus 16. Plus 6. Okay, I'm just going to solve it fast. 3x cubed divided by x would give us 3x squared. 3x squared multiplied by x is 3x cubed, multiplied by negative 2 is minus 6x squared. Simplify this, this becomes negative, this becomes positive. 6 plus 2 is 8x squared minus 19x. So 8x squared divided by x would give us positive 8x only. So positive 8x multiplied by x minus 2 would give us 8x squared minus 8 to the 16x. And we divide this again. Negative becomes positive and positive becomes negative. Cancel this down, we get negative 16 plus, negative 19 plus 16. So you get negative 3x plus 6. Okay. Negative 3x divided by x as, x is negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied x minus 2 is negative 3x plus 6. Simplify this, becomes positive, this becomes negative, and this cancels down. So our final equation would be x minus 2 multiplied by 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. Again, I'm using my calculator to simplify this quadratic equation. I get 3x squared plus 8x minus 3. I get x equals to 1 over 3 and x is equals to negative 3. So one of our factors, x is equals to negative 3, becomes x plus 3, and x is equals to 1 over 3 becomes 3x and minus 1. So this is your answer for part F. In fact, not 0. This is the factorized form. So now we have g 4x cubed minus 8x squared minus x plus 2. Now simplify this, we get, first of all, find out the factors. They are positive, negative 1, positive, negative 2, and then we can go forward if we do not find any of these. By the way, it's one also a good thing to find positive, negative 1 over 2. But I know for a fact that, I've solved this question and already, and I know that positive, negative 1 over 2 is not a factor. But if you're going in exams, you should check out if positive or negative 1 over 2 could be a factor or not. Okay, so I'm just going to input positive or negative 1. 4 multiplied by 1 minus 8 multiplied by 1 multiplied minus 1 plus 2. This is 4 minus 8, negative 4. Negative 4 minus 1, negative 5. Negative 5 plus 2 is not equals to 0. And then when x equals to negative 1, repeat the same thing. 4 multiplied by negative 1 minus 8 multiplied by negative 1 minus 1 plus, positive 1 plus 2 is equals to 0. So negative 4 plus 8 is positive 4. Positive 4 plus 1 is 5. 5 plus 2 is 7, not equals to 0. So this is not also equals to 0. When x equals to positive 2, we have 4 multiplied by 8 minus 8 multiplied by 4 plus, minus 2 plus 2. Okay, 8 multiplied by 4 is 32 and 8 multiplied by 4 is again 32. So these two cancel down, these two cancel down. So this is actually equals to 0. So x minus 2 is a factor. So then when we have x minus 2, let me just erase the part E for my answer so that I can get more space. Okay, then when we have x minus 2, we can just simply write it here and use the long division method to find out the rest of the factors. 4x cubed minus 8x squared minus x plus 2. Okay, simplify this. 4x cubed divided by x is 4x squared. 4x cubed multiplied by 4 minus 2, 8x squared. Negative and positive. This cancels down, this cancels down. Negative x plus 2 comes here. Negative x divided by x is negative 1. Negative 1 multiplied by x, negative x plus 2. So this becomes positive, this becomes negative, this cancels down, and we have got 4x squared minus 1 as a factor and x minus 2. I could solve this through a calculator again, but for your easiness, I'm just going to factorize 4x squared minus 1. So to factorize 4x squared minus 1. Okay, wait a second before we proceed, and wait a second. Okay, so 4x squared minus 1, we can say that if we could simplify this, we could also say that this is 2x whole squared minus 1 squared. And this is a pretty common method you have to know, because in terms of where there's two terms in a quadratic equation and you have to simplify it. So we know that a squared, we know the identity a squared minus b squared is equals to a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So the same thing is going to go here, 2x whole squared minus 1 whole squared. So it's 2x plus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 1. So now the final answer would be 2x plus 1 multiplied by 2x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 2. And that's your answer for part G. Okay, let me just raise this up so that we have more space to work with. Okay, so the last part, which is part H, we have, let me just go on. For part H, we have 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 32x plus 15. Okay, so what are we going to do for this? When x is equals to positive negative 2, x equals to positive negative 1, and x equals to positive negative 3. We could try these values, and if those do not work, we can proceed forward. We can also try positive negative 1 over 2 here. So when x is equals to negative 1, sorry, positive 1. So 2 multiplied by, wait a second. So 2 multiplied by 1 is going to be 2 plus 3 multiplied by 1 minus 32 plus 15. Let's check this out. 2 plus 3 is 5. 5 minus 32 plus 15 is not equals to 0. X is equals to negative 1. We have 2 multiplied by negative 1 plus 3 multiplied by negative 1 minus 32 minus 32. In fact, positive 32 plus 15. Okay, so this would be negative 5 plus 32 plus 15, and that is also not equals to 0. So when x is equals to positive 2, okay, let's check this out. 2 multiplied by 2 cube is 8, plus 3 multiplied by 2 squared is 4, minus 32 multiplied by 2 plus 15. So 2 8 2 is 16, 4 3 is 12. 16 plus 12 minus 32 multiplied by 2 plus 15 is not equals to 0. X is equals to negative 2, 2 multiplied by negative 8 plus 3 multiplied by 4 minus 32 multiplied by negative 2 plus 15 is equals to 0. So 8 2 is 16, negative 16 plus 12 is going to give us negative 4 plus 32 plus 15, obviously not equals to 0. Okay, so there then we have when x is equals to positive 3. Now we input this 2 multiplied by 3 square, 3 cube. In fact, just let me write it as it is. So 2 multiplied by 3 cube is 27 plus 3 multiplied by 3 squared is 9 minus 32 multiplied by 3 is 96 plus 15 is equals to 0. Okay, 2 multiplied by 27, 27 multiplied by 2 is 54, 54 plus 9 multiplied by 3 minus 96 plus 15, and that is equal to 0. So x minus 3 is a factor. Okay, now that we know that it is a factor, what are we going to do? We are going to use the long division method as always. So x minus 3 here, then we have 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 32x plus 15. Divide this up. 2x cubed divided by x is 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x minus 3 is 2x cubed minus 3 to the 6x squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative and cancels down. 6 plus 3 is 9x squared minus 32x. Okay, so 9x squared divided by x is positive 9x. Okay, so 9x multiplied by x minus 3, 9x squared minus 9 threes is 27x. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. This cancels down, negative, this 3 for 5, positive 5x. Sorry, this would be negative 5x plus 15. Okay, negative 5x divided by 5, negative 5, negative 5x minus minus plus plus 15. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. When we subtract, we get nothing. So we have got x minus 3 multiplied by 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. simplify this quadratic equation. How do you simplify this? Simply use your calculator. What's it? Polynomial equation 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. So we have the factors x minus 3 as it is. Then we have x equals to 1 over 2, so that equates to 2x minus 1. And then we have the second factor, which is x minus 5. So this would be x plus 5. Again, as you can see, we have got x equals to 1 over 2 as a factor. We could have used positive or negative 1 over 2. And that would have saved us from, inputting 2 or 3, but we didn't do it again because positive and negative 1 over 2 do not come often, but still they're an important part and might come whatever. You should, that's the thing about trial and error. It's trial and error or success. You just have to do it. It's not always easy, I know, but it's essential. Okay, so question number 3 for part A. X cubed minus 3x squared minus 33x plus 35 is equal to 0. Okay, now that we have this, let me just solve this. X cubed minus 3x squared minus 33x plus 35 is equal to 0. Now simplify this again. What's the what was it? Yeah, now we have to factorize it. It's 35, so x is equals to positive or negative 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, so it's positive or negative 5. Okay, so I think it's either one of positive or negative 5 because of the factors. Let's see, when x equals to 5, we have what 5 cube is 125 minus 3 multiplied by 5 squared, 5 5 is 25, 25 multiplied by 3 is 75, minus 75 minus 33 multiplied by 5. 33 multiplied by 5, 165 plus 35. Okay, so 125 minus 75 minus 165. Sorry, 125 minus 75 minus 165. Okay, plus 35 is not equal to 0. So when x is equal to negative 5, when x equals to negative 5, we have negative 125. Then we have 5, 5. Again, the same thing, just the sign switched. No, same sign also. Negative 75. Minus, instead of minus 165, there will be a difference. Minus 165 will become what? Negative 33 multiplied by negative 5 is positive 165. And plus 35. So is that equals to 0 or not? Let's check up. 165 minus 75 minus 125 plus 35, and that is equals to 0. Okay, now that I have one factor, which is x plus 5, I'm going to simply use the long division method, x plus 5 here, and we have got x cubed minus 3x squared minus 33x plus 35. Okay, now I'm going to simplify this. X cubed divided by x is x squared. X squared multiplied by x plus 5 is x squared plus 5 x cubed plus 5x squared. Now that we have this becomes negative, this becomes negative also. So this cancels down. However, this stays negative 8x squared minus 33x. Negative 8x squared divided by x is negative 8x. Negative 8x multiplied by x plus 5 is negative 8x squared minus 33 multiplied by 5, which is negative 165. X divided by this becomes positive, this becomes positive too. 165 minus 33 is 132. 132x plus 35. I think I've done something wrong. Let's check before. Okay, so 132 divided by x is positive 132. Yeah, I've done it wrong. I think I've done it wrong. Let me just erase this and redo this. I've probably done mistake while just doing it fastly. Okay, again, when x equals to 5, so that means x plus 5 is a factor. Let me just do this. X plus 5. So then x cubed minus 3x squared minus 33x plus 35. X cubed divided by x is x squared multiplied by 5x squared plus 5x squared. This simplifies and this becomes negative also. So this is x cubed minus plus 5x squared. So this becomes 6, 7, 8, negative 8x squared minus 33x. So this becomes negative 8 here and x, negative 8x multiplied by x plus 5, so negative 8x squared minus, I think that's the mistake we made, 8 multiplied by 5 is 40x. This becomes positive, this becomes positive 2, cancels down, negative 33 plus 40 is 7x, and 7x plus 35. 7x divided by x is positive 7, 7x plus 35 here, this becomes negative, this becomes negative, cancels down, and we have our equations. And simplify this, x plus 5 multiplied by x squared minus 8x plus 7. Simplify this, x plus 5 multiplied by x squared minus 8x plus 7. I'm going to use my calculator for this again. 2 polynomial 1x squared minus 8x plus 7. So we have got two factors, x minus 7 and x minus 1. And that's it. This is your answer for part A. Okay. I hope you're understanding it. If there's any problem, just please do try to ask in the comments. I'll try my best, to be honest, to reply. And let's see. And if there's anything you want in detail, like if there's some steps I'm missing, you think it should be better of me to, make that explanatory. So please do write down it in the comments. Okay, for part B, we have x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6 is equal to 0. So basically, by the way, I just realized they've also told us we had to solve the equation, not factorize it. So that this would not be in this form. We would reduce our marks. This would be in the form x equals to negative 5, positive 7, and positive 1. So this would be the final answer. Okay. Oops, my bad. Let me just make a square up here. And we've got this. So now that we have this one done, let's just go on, proceed on with this one. We have positive or negative 3 and positive and negative 2, positive and negative 1. I think these will give us the answers. So when x equals to positive 1, we have 1 minus 6 plus 11 minus 6 is equal to 0. That is not equal to 0 because this and this cancels out here. X equals to negative 1. So we have got, in fact, this is equal to 0. My bad. This is equal to 0 because 1 minus 6 plus 11 minus 6. Negative 6 minus 6 is negative 12, and positive 11 plus 1 is positive 12. This is equal to 0, and we have a factor which is x minus 1. Now that we have x minus 1, we can simply use the long division method to find out the rest of the factors. We've got x cubed minus 6x squared plus 11x minus 6 to divide. After that, what are we going to do? X cubed divided by x is x squared. X squared minus, x cubed minus x squared here. We cancel this down, this becomes positive and this becomes negative. This becomes negative 5x squared plus 11x. Okay, negative 5x squared divided by x is negative 5x. Negative 5x multiplied by x minus 1 is negative 5x squared plus 5x. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. This cancels down. 11 minus 5 is equals to what? 6x. Negative 6x minus 6. Negative 6x divided by x is negative 6. Negative 6 multiplied by x minus 1 is negative 6x minus 6. This becomes positive, this becomes negative, and that cancels down. So we have got x minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 5x minus 6. X minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 5x minus 6. If I were to factorize x squared minus 5x minus 6 using my calculator, 1x squared minus 5x minus 6, I would get x minus 1 as it is, and then the two factors for this is x minus 6 and x plus 1. And so if we were to solve this, our values of x would be x equals to positive 1, x equals to negative 1, and x is equals to positive 6. Okay, that is it for part B. Let me just erase it for part C. Okay, now so we are going to start with question number 3, part C. We have 3x cubed plus 17x squared plus 18x minus 8 is equal to 0. Now we have to solve this, meaning we have to find out the values of x. So this might be out of anything, plus minus 1, plus minus 1 over 2, plus minus 2. I'm going to take 1 over 2. I normally take in the end if I do not find anything, plus minus 8. We know these can be the factors because of the constant. They're all multiples of the constant. Okay, so I'm going to try it out. And when x is equals to positive 1, we have 3 plus 17 plus 18 minus 8 is equals to 0. And 3 plus 17 plus 18 minus 8 is not equals to 0 at all. So this is not equals to 0. Then we go for x equals to negative 1. So this would be negative 3 plus 17 minus 18 minus 8 is equals to, is it equals to 0? No, this is also not equals to 0. Then we go towards x is equals to positive 2. So if we were to add x equals to 2, we have 3 multiplied by 2 cube, which is 8, plus 17 multiplied by 2 squared, which is 4, plus 18 multiplied by 2 minus 8 is equals to 0. Okay, so if we add this all up, we get 120 instead of 0. So this is not the answer. So this is also not equal to 0. Then we go towards the next thing, which is x equals to negative 2. Then we go 3 multiplied by negative 2 cube is negative 8, plus 17 multiplied by 2 squared is 4. Sorry, negative 2 squared is also 4. Plus 18 multiplied by negative 2 minus 8 is equal to 0. Now, if I were to simplify this, let me just get it. 3 multiplied by negative 8 plus 17 multiplied by 4. 17 multiplied by 4 plus 18, wait a second, 18 multiplied by negative 2 minus 8. And that is equal to 0. So 0 is equal to 0, hence proved. So x plus 2 is a factor. Now again, to simplify this, I'm going to divide this up. Let me just wait a second. So x plus 2 here. Then we have 3x cubed plus 17x squared plus 18x minus 8. If you do not, by the way, I'm going to just go on for the long division method faster than usual. If you do not understand it really well, you could watch my previous lecture. I have a whole lecture on the exercise where we practice long division methods. So do you check that out if your division is weak. So if I were to just divide this, 3x cubed divided by x would get 3x squared. 3x squared multiplied by x plus 2 is 3x cubed plus 2, 3 is 6x squared. Then we subtract these. This cancels down. 17 minus 6 is 11x squared. 11x squared divided by x would give us positive 11x. 11x squared plus 22x would come here because 11x multiplied by x plus 2 is 11x squared plus 22x. By the way, it's not here. It's 18x here, and in the below side we get x squared plus 22x. Subtract this up on both sides and we get this cancels out. 18 minus 22 is going to give us negative 4x, and negative 4x minus 8 here. Negative 4x divided by x is negative 4. Negative 4 multiplied by x plus 2 is negative 4x minus 8 divided by this becomes positive, this becomes positive, then that cancels down. Okay, so the next step we're going to do is just write this x plus 2 multiplied by 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. Now you have to simplify this so that we could find the most simplest, the factors in the most simplest form. 3x squared plus 11x minus 4. Okay, so I'm just going to use my calculator for this. You could use any method, the middle term breakdown or the formula, whatever you find easier. I'm just going to use the calculator for now to find out the factors. So we have got 3x squared plus 11x and minus 4. 1 over 3 and negative 4. So if I were to write x equals to 1 over 3 and negative 4, I could just write. We have three answers for this. X equals to negative 2, 1 over 3, and wait a second, and negative 4. Okay, and that's it. This is it for question number 3C. Proceeding on to part D. Okay, for part D, we have 2x cubed plus 3x squared plus 3x squared minus 17x plus 12 is equals to 0. Now that we have this, we take the constant and find out what could be the values of x. Okay, so positive 12 means it's either 0, it's positive or negative 1, but 0 doesn't come normally, so it's going to be positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, in fact, positive negative 4 also, positive negative 6, positive and negative 12. So by the way, for those of you wondering that we might even get a value of positive negative 12, that's really rare to come in the exam. I mean, all of the past papers I've ever seen in AddMaths, they're all in the range of positive negative 1 to positive negative 3. And that may be in 1 over 2, 3 over 2, but they're normally in the range beneath positive and negative under root 3. So, I mean, it may come, I don't know, but it's not really, uh, often that this type of questions come. It's basically in the range of 1 to 3, but we'll see it out. So x equals to positive 1. If you try that out, 2 multiplied by 1, 2 plus 3 minus 17 plus 12. So 3, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, this is equals to 0 actually. So this is equals to 0. We have got x minus 1 is a factor. Now that we have the factor, we can simply use the long division method to solve it out. X minus 1 here. Then we write 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 17x plus 12. Again, I'm going to just solve it in a more easier way. So 2x cubed divided by x is going to give us 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x minus 1 is 2x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes negative, this becomes positive, this cancels down. Positive 3 plus 5 is 5x. Plus 2 is 5x squared, sorry. 5x squared minus 17x comes below. Okay, so 5x squared divided by x is going to give us positive 5 x, in fact. 5x multiplied by x minus 1 is 5x squared minus 5x. Both of them become positive. Sorry. One becomes positive. Oh, sorry, negative. No, one becomes negative and one becomes positive. This cancels down. Negative 17 plus 5 is going to give me negative 12. So negative 12x plus 12, negative 12x divided by x is going to give us negative 12 itself. So negative 12 multiplied by x minus 1 is negative 12x plus 12. This becomes negative, this becomes positive, and they simply cancel down. So we have x minus 1 multiplied by 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 is equals to 0. Now if I were to simplify again, I'm going to simply use my calculator for this. 2x squared plus 5x minus 12. So we have got the first factor is obviously x equals to positive 1. Then we have got x is equals to negative 4. And we have got x equals to positive 3 over 2. And that's it. This is the answer for part D. Proceeding on to the next part, which is part E. We have for part E 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 11x plus 6 is equals to 0. Now again, the same thing repeating here. Take the constant. We are going to check out the multiples of the constant, which would be positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, positive negative 4, positive negative 5. Oh, what am I even doing for saying this is a multiple of positive negative 4? Sorry, my bad. So it's going to be either positive negative 6. So it's going to be in that range. Let us just check it out. X equals to positive 1. When x is equals to 1, we have 2 minus 3 minus 11 plus 6, and that is obviously not equals to 0. When x equals to negative 1, we have negative 2 minus 3 minus, positive 11 plus 6 is equals to 0. Is that equals to 0? 11 plus 6? No, that is not at all equals to 0. Then we have x equals to positive 2. For that, we are just going to use 2 multiplied by 2 cube is 8. Minus 3 multiplied by 2 squared is 4. Minus 11 multiplied by 2 plus 6 is equals to 0. Let us simplify this to 8 to the 16. So wait a second more. 8 to the 16 minus 4 3 is a 12 minus 22 plus 6. That is not equals to 0 at all. So we have when x is equals to negative 2. 2 multiplied by negative 2 cube would become negative 8. Minus 3 multiplied by 2 squared would become 4. Minus 11 multiplied by negative 2 plus 6. Is that equals to 0? 8 to the 16, negative 16 minus 12 plus 22 plus 6. And yes, that is equals to 0. And we can say that x plus 2 is a factor. Now that we know that this is a factor, we can simply just divide this up So we have got, what was the question? 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 11x plus 6. And then we have a divisible, which we are going to divide by x plus 2. So 2x cubed divided by x would give us 2x squared. And obviously, wait a second, my bad. So this would give us 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x plus 2 is 2x cubed, plus 2 twos is 4x squared. Simplify this, this becomes negative, this becomes negative also. Negative 3 minus 4 is negative 7x squared minus 11x. Okay, negative 7x squared divided by x would give us negative 7x. 7x multiplied by x plus 2 is negative 7x squared, minus 7 to the 14x. This becomes positive, this becomes positive 2. This cancels down, this becomes positive 3x, and positive 6 comes down. So 3x plus 6, 3x divided by x is going to give us positive 3. 3x plus 6 again here. This becomes negative, and this cancels out. So we have got x plus 2 multiplied by the 2x squared minus 7x plus 3 is equals to 0. Now we have three factors again. So we have got x equals to negative 2. I'm going to solve the quadratic equation with my calculator to save some time. So 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. So x equals to 1 over 2 and x equals to 3. So x equals to 3 and x is equals to 1 over 2. We got these three values of x, and now I'm going to proceed on to part f. So for part f, we have 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equals to 0. Next step, we have to find out the multiples from the constant. So x might be equal to positive negative 1 or positive negative 2 or positive negative 4. Okay, so first of all, we are going to try with x equals to positive 1. So 2 plus 7 minus 5 minus 4 is equal to 0. Minus 5 minus 4 is minus 9, 7, 8, 9. Yes, this is equal to 0. So we are lucky enough to have a factor earlier. So x minus 1 is a factor. Now that we have this, we can just simply divide x minus 1 with the equation we have. 2x cubed plus 7x squared minus 5x minus 4 is equals to 0. And what is the factor? X minus 1. So 2x cubed divided by x would give us 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x minus 1 is 2x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative when multiplying by negative. This cancels out 7, 8, 9x squared minus 5x. 9x squared divided by x is positive 9x. 9x multiplied by x minus 1 is 9x squared minus 9x. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. This cancels down, negative 5 plus 9 is 4x minus 4. Now 4x divided by x is going to give us positive 4. 4x multiplied by x minus 1 is 4x minus 4. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. If we cancel this out, we get our quadratic equation. So if we were to simplify this, we get x minus 1 multiplied by 2x squared plus 9x plus 4 is equals to 0. Again, I'm going to use my calculator to solve this quadratic equation. We get 2x squared plus 9x. Wait a second. 2x squared plus 9x plus 4. First of all, we have the obvious factor, which is x equals to positive 1, which we found out with the trial and error method. Then we have negative 1 over 2. And then we have negative 4. And this is it for part H. F. Right? How come I have not done G and H? Okay. Okay, let me just clear it a bit so I have some space. Oops, wait a second, I have to change some settings. Okay, for the next part G, we have 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus 5x minus 6 is equals to 0. Now again, first thing, we use the trial and error method, and for that we first of all find out the factors plus minus 1 plus minus 2 and then plus minus 3 plus minus 6, or it could be positive negative 1 over 2, but I prefer to check it out if I do not get my answer still positive or negative 3. Okay, so when x equals to 1, we have 4 plus 12 plus 5 minus 6 is equals to 0. Is this equals to 0? That is not at all equals to 0. X is equals to negative 1 is negative 4 plus 12 minus 5 minus 6. Negative 4 plus 12 is positive 8. 5 and 6 is not. That is not the answer. Then we have got x equals to positive 2. 4 multiplied by 2 cube is 8. 4 8 plus 12 multiplied by 2 squared, which is 4, plus 5 multiplied by 2 is 10, minus 6 is equal to 0. So is this, no, this is not at all equal to 0. So then we go to x equals to negative 2. We have 4 multiplied by negative 8 plus 12 multiplied by 4 minus 10 minus 6 is equal to 0. And if I were to simplify this, this is actually equals to 0. So x plus 2 is a factor. Now that we have the factor, we can just simply divide this up. Second one. Okay, so x plus 2 here. Then we have got the question, which is 4x cubed plus 12x squared plus 5x minus 6. Okay, now that we have this, so we divide this 4x cubed divided by x would give us 4x squared. 4x squared multiplied by x plus 2 is 4x cubed plus 8x squared. Subtract that on both sides, this cancels down. 12 minus 8 is positive 4x squared plus 5x, and then 4x squared divided by x is going to give us positive 4x. 4x multiplied by x plus 2 is 4x squared plus 4 2s is 8x. This becomes negative, this becomes negative, cancel this down. Plus minus 5 minus 8 is going to give us negative 3. 6, 7, 8, yeah. Negative 3x minus 6. Negative 3x divided by x is going to give us negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied by x plus 2 is negative 3x minus, minus 6. This becomes positive, and we cancel them down. So now we have got x plus 2 multiplied by 4x squared plus 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. If I were to simplify it, the first value would be negative 2. The quadratic equation, I'm going to solve it. My calculator, 4x squared plus 4x minus 3. So we have got 1 over 2 and negative 3 over 2. Okay. Now that we've got this, proceeding on to part H. Let me just erase this up. Okay, for part H, we have 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 29x plus 60. Okay. Now, if I were to solve this, again, the trial and error method. So we're going to check the divisibles of 60, positive and negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, and then positive negative. Yeah, I'm going to just take it till 3. I don't think this is going to be much longer than that. Okay, when x is equal to positive 1, so 2 multiplied by 1 is 2 minus 3 minus 29 plus 60. Is that equals to 29? 3, 32, no, that is not equal to 0. So then x equals to negative 1, we have negative 2 minus 3 plus 29 plus 60, and that is obviously not equals to 0 too. Then we proceed on to x equals to positive 2. When x equals to positive 2, 2 cube is 8, 8 to the 16, minus 3, 2 to the 4, 4 3 the 12, minus 29 multiplied by 2. 29 multiplied by 2 is 58, minus 58 plus 60. Negative 58, negative 58 minus 12 plus 16 plus 60 is not equals to 0. Then we proceed to x equals to negative 2. We have got negative 2, so instead of 16, this would be negative 16, and negative 16 minus 2 squared, 4 3 is 12, plus 58 plus 60 is equals, and that is also not equals to 0. So when x equals to 3, we have 3 cube, 3 cube multiplied by what? 2. So 3 cube multiplied by 2 is, oops, my bad. So 3 cube 27 multiplied by 2 is 54. 54 minus 9 multiplied by 3, which is obviously 27 again. So this cancels down. So next thing is negative 29 multiplied by 3. What is 29 multiplied by 3? It is equal to 87. Wait a second, I think I did a mistake. 3 square is 9. 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. And oops, yeah, I wrote 54 instead of 27 here. I don't know why. My bad. Minus 27 minus 29 multiplied by 3. 29 multiplied by 3 is negative 87 plus 60. So 54 minus 27, 54 minus 27 minus 87 plus 60, and that is equals to 0. So x minus 3 is a factor. Okay, so now if I were to divide this up, x minus 3 in this side, and then we have the equation 2x cubed minus 3x squared minus 29x plus 60. So again, 2x cubed divided by x is going to be 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x minus 3 is 2x cubed minus 6x squared minus and positive here. So this cancels down. Negative 3 plus 6 is going to give us 3x squared. 3x squared divided by x is going to give us positive 3x. Okay, for question number 4, part A, again it's the same thing. Express the roots in the form a plus minus and b under root c. So first of all, x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 2 is equals to 0. Now that we have the equation, we use the constant value to guess the uh, what do you say, potential values for x. So we have it's either equals to positive negative 1, positive negative 2, or positive negative 1 over 2. Okay, so now if we just simply do it, x is equals to positive 1. So 1 cube plus 5 minus 4 minus 2. 5 minus 4 minus 2, yes, plus 1 is equals to 0. So x minus 1 is a factor. And now for the rest of the equation, we are just going to use the long division method to find out our answer. So x minus 1, we divide this by the original equation we have been given, x cubed plus 5x squared minus 4x minus 2. Okay, now that we have this, x cubed divided by x is x squared multiplied by x minus 1 is x cubed minus x squared. Again, so this becomes negative, this becomes positive because they both multiply by negative. So this cancels down. 5x squared plus x squared is 6x squared. Negative 4x comes down. 6x squared minus 4x. 6x squared divided by x is going to be positive 6x. 6x multiplied by x minus 1 is 6x squared minus 6x. This becomes positive, this becomes negative because they both are being multiplied by negative. So minus 4x plus 6x is going to give us 2x plus minus 2. Sorry. 2x divided by x is going to give us positive 2. 2x multiplied by, positive 2 multiplied by x minus 1 is 2x minus 2 here. This cancels down and we have got x squared plus 6x plus 2 as a factor. Now, the reason they have told us to give it in this form is to show that this is in the exact form. And it will be much more easier if I were to say x minus 1 multiplied by x squared plus 6x plus 2. Okay, now if I were to break this x squared plus 6x plus 2, how would I do it? I'll use this x squared plus 6x plus 2. And I use the quadratic formula for 1. So a is equals to 1. We all know how to use the quadratic formula. B is equals to 6 and c is equals to 2. So minus b, so negative 6 plus minus under root b squared. B squared is 36 minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is 2, divided by 2a, which is 2 multiplied by 1. If I were to simplify this, I would get negative 6. In fact, let me just do it here. Negative 6 plus minus under root 36 minus 8. So 36 minus 8 is going to give us 28 divided by 2. Okay, if we were to simplify under root 28 while using our calculator, obviously we would get negative 6 plus minus under root 2 under root 7. Sorry, not under root 2 under root 7, it's 2 under root 7 divided by 2. And then if I simplify this, 2 under 2, 2 3 is 6 and 2 under 2 here. So we would get negative 3 plus minus under root 7. And that is your answer for this part, because as you can see, they have asked us in the form a plus minus b under root c. So this is your answer for the first part. Proceeding on to part B. So x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x minus 9 is equals to 0. Okay, another equation. Let me just continue with this. Okay, so seeing the constant value, we can assume the first factor, which could be positive negative 1, positive negative 2. Oh, sorry, not positive negative 2 at all. Positive negative 3 and positive negative 9. I think these values will just give us the answer. We'll not need to go above that. Okay. Now, if I were to try x is equals to positive 1, so we have got 1 plus 8, x is equals to 1 here. 1 plus 8 plus 12 minus 9 is equals to 0. That is not equals to 0. X is equals to negative 1. That would become negative 1 plus 8 minus 12 minus 9. Is that? No, that is also not equals to 0. Okay, let me just recheck. Yeah, not equals to. So x is equals to negative, positive 2. We get 2 cube is 8 plus 2 to the 4, 8 4 is 32 plus 12 multiplied by 2 is 24 minus 9 is equals to 0. Is that equals to 0? That is obviously not equals to 0. Then we have x equals to negative 2. We have negative 2 cube is negative 8 plus 32 minus 24 minus 9 is equals to 0. That is also not equals to 0. Then we go x equals to positive 3. If x equals to positive 3, then 3 cube is equal to 27, obviously. 3 cube is equal to 27 plus here 3 3 is 9, 8 multiplied by 9 is 72. 72 plus 12 multiplied by 3. 12 multiplied by 3 is like what, 36? Yes, 36 minus 9 is equal to 0. That is obviously not equal to 0. X is equal to negative 3. Okay, so this would give us negative 27 plus 72 minus 36 minus 9. And this is equals to 0. So x equals to negative 3 is a factor which would be x plus 3. Now, if I were to use this factor, let me just take this up. If I just delete it. Now, if I'm going to take this factor and use the long division method here, so x plus 3 here, and the original equation. Okay, now the original equation x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x minus 9. Okay, so next thing, x cubed divided by x would be x squared multiplied by x plus 3 is x cubed plus 3x squared. Now again, both of them are subtracting, so this becomes negative and this becomes negative 2. So this cancels down. Ax squared minus 3x squared is going to give us 5x squared. 5x squared, 12x comes down here, plus 12x. 5x squared divided by x would give us 5x. And 5x multiplied by x plus 3 would give us 5x squared plus 15x. This becomes negative, this becomes negative. This cancels down. This becomes 12 minus 15x, negative 3x, and negative 9 comes down here. Okay, then negative 3x divided by x is going to give us negative 3 here. So now we have negative 3x minus 9 again. This becomes positive when subtracting, and we cancel them down. So we have x squared plus 5x minus 3. Okay, by the way, for those of you still confused in part A, I just forgot one thing, and that is to write it in a simpler method. So they've told us express root in the form a plus minus b under root c, and they've also written where necessary. So it's not supposed to be every time, by the way. So if I were to write my roots, it would be x minus 1, x minus 1, and if even just write it like this, x is equals to positive 1 would be the first root, and the third and second root, yes, would be negative 3 plus minus under root 7. So this would be the way. Now for this one, x squared plus 5x minus 3, you're going to simplify again with the quadratic formula. A is equals to 1, b is equals to 5, and c is equals to negative 3. So again, negative 5 plus minus under root b squared, which is 25, minus 4 multiplied by a, which is 1, multiplied by c, which is negative 3, divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 1. So this would become negative 5 plus minus under root 25 for 3 is 12. So this becomes positive 12 because negative multiplied by negative becomes positive. 12 plus 25 is 37. So 5 plus minus under root 37 divided by 2. Simplify this. Under root 37 would give us under root 37. Okay, so for this one, what should we do? We should simply just write this as negative. The first rule is going to be, yes, x is equals to negative 3. The second root is the second and third root, in fact, negative 5 plus and minus under root 37 divided by 2. You could simplify it more, but I think that's all what they have asked, and I think that should be enough for the examiner. So this is it. Proceeding on to part C. Let me just raise it. Okay, for part C, we have x cubed plus 2x squared, sorry, minus 7x minus 2 is equals to 0. Okay, so now again the same thing, use the constant to find out which value of the first possible value of x. So x might be equals to positive negative 1 or positive negative 2 or positive negative 1 over 2. So we do not know what the answer might be. First, let's try in the order we have written. So 1 plus 2 minus 7 minus 2. 1 plus 2, and that is also not equals to 0. X equals to 1 here. So x equals to negative 1. We have negative 1 plus 2 plus 7 minus 2. And that is also not equals to 0. Then we have x equals to positive 2. 2 cube is 8 plus 2 squared is 4. 4 2 that is again 8. Minus 7 2s are 14 minus 2. And that is 8 plus 8. Yes, that is equal to 0. So x minus 2 is one factor. Now we are going to use the long division method for the rest of the question. So if I were to just write up here, x minus 2 is here, and then we have x cubed plus 2x squared minus 7x minus 2. Okay, so x cubed divided by x is going to give us x squared. So x squared multiplied by x minus 2 is x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. Cancel this down, 4x squared here minus 7x. Okay, 4x squared divided by x would give us positive 4x. 4x multiplied by x minus 2 is 4x squared minus 8x squared. 8x. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. Divide this up. We've got, this cancels down. Negative 7 plus 8 is positive 1x, and this x minus 2. X divided by x is positive 1, and this would give us x minus 2. This becomes negative, this becomes positive, and this cancels down. Okay, so we have got x squared plus 4x plus 1. Now the next thing we are going to do is we are simply going to use the quadratic formula again. A is equals to 1, b is equals to 4, c is equals to positive 1 again. So minus b plus minus under root b squared is, second, let me just raise this up. Oops. Okay. Plus minus under root b squared, which is 4 4 is 16, minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 2 multiplied by 1. This becomes negative 4. Wait a second. negative 4 plus minus under root, what is 16 minus 4? 16 minus 4 is 12. 16 minus 4 is 12. What is under root 12 equals to? That's 2 under root 3. So we can also simplify this. So this would be negative 4 plus minus under root, 2 under root 3 divided by 2. This would cancel down and this would become negative 2. So we have got negative 2 plus minus under root 3 here. So the roots would be x is equals to positive 2 and x equals to negative 2 plus minus under root 3. So these are three roots for this equation. And for the last part, we have 2x cubed, 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 17x plus 12. And that's equals to 0. Okay. Now, again, we are going to use the factors. This might be positive negative 1, positive negative 2, positive negative 3, and positive negative 1 over 2. We just keep it to this. I don't think there will be more than that. So 2 cube is 2 plus 3 minus 17 plus 12. 4, 5 and 5, 16. Yeah, that is equals to 0. Let me just confirm 2 plus 3 minus 17 plus 12. Yeah, that is equals to 0. So x is equals to 1 is a factor, and we could say x minus 1 is a factor. Now, if I were to use the long division method here, we would get x minus 1 at this side, and we have got 2x cubed plus 3x squared minus 17x plus 12. Okay, now we divide this 2x cubed divided by x would give us 2x squared. 2x squared multiplied by x minus 1 is 2x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. This cancels down. 3 plus 2 is 5x squared. 17x comes down here, minus 17x. So 5x squared divided by x would give us positive 5x, and 5x squared minus 5x here. This becomes negative, this becomes positive. This cancels down. This becomes negative 12x. Negative 12x, positive 12 comes down here. So we've got 12x divided by x is negative 12. So negative 12x minus 12. So this becomes, plus 12, because 12, a negative 12 multiplied by x minus 1 would give us negative 12x plus 12. This becomes positive, this becomes negative, and they cancel down. So we have got 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 as our quadratic equation. For that, we are just going to simply use the quadratic formula. We are going to first simplify. Is equals to 2, b is equals to 5, and c is equals to negative 12. Then we go on negative 5 plus minus under root b squared. B squared is 25 minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 2. This simplifies to negative 5 plus minus under root, what is 25 minus 4 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 2. In fact, this is not minus, this is addition, because negative 4 multiplied by negative 12 multiplied by positive 2 is 96. 25 plus 96 is 121. Now, under root 121 would be 11. So this would be divided by 4. So this would give us negative 5 plus minus 11 divided by 4. So negative 5 plus minus 11 divided by 4. You could simplify this. It's either negative 5 plus 11, negative 5 plus 11 divided by 4, or negative 5 minus 11 divided by 4. This would be 6 divided by 4. This could be further simplified, or negative 16 divided by 4. So this would be 2 to the 4, 2, 3 is 6, and this would be 2 to the 4, 2 8 is 16, 2 1 is 2, 2 4 is 8. So we have got x is equals to what? X equals to positive 1, x is equals to 3, sorry, x equals to 3 over 2, or x is equals to negative 4. So we have these three values for x. By the way, if you are wondering why I did not write in the form a plus minus and root b under root c, that's because they've also written where necessary. Oops. So it's not essential. They've not said that it's supposed to be written every time, but where it is possible, you have to write it in that accurate form. However, in this case, we did not need that. So proceeding on to question number 5. Question number 5, they've called solve the equation this, this, and this, and express the roots in this form where necessary. Again, we have to write in the accurate form. For that, 2x cubed plus 9x squared minus 14x minus 9 is equal to 0. Now that we have got this, we're just simply going to use the constant value to guess our first value. Positive negative 1, positive negative 3. I think this would be enough for positive negative 9. So x equals to positive 1 would give us 2 plus 9 minus 14 minus 9. That is obviously not equals to 0. X equals to 1. X equals to negative 1 would give us negative 2 plus 9 plus 14 minus 9. That is also obviously not equals to 0. Okay, so next we are going to take x is equals to positive 3. So 3 cube is 27, 27 multiplied by 2 is 54. 54 plus 3 squared is 9, 9 multiplied by 9 is 81. Minus 14 multiplied by 3. 14 multiplied by 3 is negative 42. And 42 minus 9. 54 plus 81. 54 plus 81 minus 42 minus 9. And that is also not equal to 0. Then we have x equals to negative 3. If we take x equals to negative 3, we would get negative 54 plus 81 plus 42, in fact, minus 9. And that's also not equal to 0. Then we've got x. Well, it's not generally that you go x till 9. I don't think it's 9. It might be positive negative 1 over 2 even. So we could just check that positive 1 over 2 is x equals to positive 1 over 2. So 1 over 2 cube multiplied by 2 is 1 over 4. So 1 over 4 plus 9 plus 1 over 2 squared is going to give us 9 multiplied by 1 over 4. So 9 over 4 here. Minus 14 multiplied by 1 over 2 is 7 minus 9. And that is also not equal to 0. Then we have x equals to negative 1 over 2. Simplify this. Negative 1 over 2 cube multiplied by 2 is negative 0.25. And then plus, we simplify this, 2.25 plus 14 divided by 2, 7. Minus 9 is equal to 0. 2.25 plus 0.25 plus 7 minus 9. And yes, this is actually equals to 0. 0 is equals to 0. Now that we have that, we are going to simply use the factor. And if I were to simplify the factor, we would get 2x plus 1 is a factor. Now I've explained a lot of time why that would be a factor, because x is equal to negative 1 over 2. If we were to simplify this would become 2x is equal to negative 1, and the negative 1 goes on the other side to give 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, and which would make it a factor. Now 2x plus 1, wait a second. So 2x plus 1 here, and we have 2x cubed plus 9x squared minus 14x minus 9. Now that we have this 2x cubed divided by 2x would give us x squared. X squared multiplied by 2x plus 1 is going to give us 2x cubed plus x squared. This comes here negative, negative. This cancels down 9x squared minus x squared is 8x squared minus 14x. Okay. Then we go up. 8x squared divided by 2x would give us positive 4x. So 4x multiplied by 2x plus 1 is 4 to the 8x squared plus 4x. This becomes negative, this becomes negative. Cancel this down. Negative 14 minus 4x is negative 18x. Minus 9 comes down here. Negative 18 divided by 2 would give us negative 9. Negative 9 multiplied by 2x plus 1 would give us negative 18x minus 9. This becomes positive, this becomes positive. They cancel down, and we have our quadratic equation x squared plus 4x minus 9. Now again, as if we would a plus minus b and root 3 where necessary, it's not obviously necessary, but we have to use the quadratic formula to confirm. So now, when we have that a is equals to 1, b is equals to 4, and c is equals to negative 9. So this is going to be minus 4 plus minus under root b squared. Wait a second. Under root b squared. 4 is 16 minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by negative 9 divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 2 multiplied by 1. Simplify this. Negative 4 plus minus under root what is 4 multiplied by 9 plus 16. 4 multiplied by 9 is 36 plus 16 is going to give us 52 divided by 2. That can be further simplified. What is under root 52? That's 2 under root 13. So negative 4 plus minus 2 under root 13 divided by 2. Simplify this. This cancels down. This becomes 2. So this would become negative 2 plus minus under root 13. Now the roots would be x is equals to what? Negative 1 over 2. And the two other roots would be negative 2 plus minus under root 13. And that is it. That is your answer for question number 5. Let me proceed on to the next question. Okay, for question number 6. Question number 6, we have solve the equation x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x is equal to 9 and write your answer correct to 2 decimal places where necessary. Okay, again, the first thing you're going to do x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x minus 9 is equal to 0. Okay, first of all, we just do it in the traditional way of, taking 0 on one side and getting a whole equation out of it. The next thing, we have negative 9 here. So what could be our roots? Positive negative 1, positive negative 3, positive negative 9. I think that would be enough. When x is equals to positive 1, we have 1 plus 8 plus 12 minus 9. It is obviously not equal to 0. When x is equals to negative 1, we have negative 1 plus 8 plus, in fact, minus 12 and minus 9. Yeah, that is not equal to 0 either. And we go on to when x equals to positive 3. When x equals to positive 3, we know that 3 cube is equal to 27. So 27 plus 8, not 8, 8 multiplied by 9 is 72. 27 plus 72 plus 12 multiplied by 3 is going to give us 36. Yes, 36 minus 9. Obviously, that is also not equal to 0. Now, when x is equal to negative 3, however, I think this would be the answer. Negative 3 cube is negative 47 again, plus 72 again, minus 36, minus 9. Negative 27 minus 36, 27 plus 36 plus 9 should be equal to 72. Yes. So this is equal to 0. And we have x plus 3 is a factor. Okay, now that we have this, we are going to use the long division method here. So x plus 3 here, and then we have the original equation, which is x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x minus 9. Okay, so for the division part, it's really easy again. X cubed divided by x is going to give us x squared multiply x squared by x plus 3. If you do not know much about long division, you can still watch my previous lectures. I've explained it in great detail in the previous exercise. So x squared multiplied by x plus 3 would give us x cubed plus 8x squared. Sorry, what am I doing? X squared multiplied by x plus 3 is x cubed plus 3x squared. It becomes negative, negative, and we subtract them down. So this cancels down. 8 minus 3 is 5x squared. Positive 12x comes down here. 5x squared divided by x would give us again positive 5x. 5x multiplied by x plus 3 is going to give us 5x squared plus 5 3 is 15x. This subtracts and this subtracts. We have got this, cancels down. Positive 12 minus 15 is negative 3x. And then negative 9 comes down here. Negative 3x divided by x is going to give us negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied by x plus 3 is negative 3x minus 9. Again, this becomes positive, this becomes positive. We cancel them down, and we have the equation x squared plus 5x minus 3. For the roots, I'm simply going to use my calculator. However, in the exam, it's preferred if you show them by calculation. Okay, so 1x squared plus 5x minus 3. This would give you negative 5 plus under root 37 divided by 2. Now, as you can notice, we have been write your answer correct to 2 decimal places where necessary. And that's a really important thing because we are getting answer in points. You could get this answer from the quadratic formula, which is negative b plus minus under root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. So that would give us two values, and I'm going to round it out to the to 2 decimal places. So we have got 0.5, which is 1 decimal place, and 4 would give us 2 decimal places. For the other root, we have negative 5 point. Now again, for 1 decimal place we have 5, and the other decimal place this is 4. So we have two values of x to 2 decimal places, and the third value will be an integer, so that won't be much of a problem. So this is it. We have solved the equation x cubed plus 8x squared plus 12x minus 9 to find out the values of x. Okay. Now we have to show that x minus 2 is a factor of x cubed minus x squared minus x minus 2. Now this is a really easy question and much more easier than the previous one because they've already told us the factor and we just have to prove it. So they're basically telling us x minus 2 is a factor. And when is x minus 2 a factor? When x minus 2 is equal to 0 and x is equal to positive 2. So we input the equation, the value of x into this equation, and if the answer is 0, we show that this is a factor. So x cubed will be 2 cubed minus 2 squared minus 2 minus 2. Okay, so this should be equals to 0. Now what we're going to do is 2 cubed is what? 2 cubed is 8 minus 4 minus 2 minus 2. So 8 minus 4 is equals to 8 minus 8 is equal to 0. So hence proved that this is a factor. And now if this comes up in your exam, you have to give the complete reasoning for why you are giving that answer. So I'm going to write hence prove that this is x minus 2 is a factor as when the value of x is input, we get the remainder 0, which shows that it is completely divisible. I'm sorry for the writing, it's really rough, I know. For part B, hence show that x cubed minus x squared minus x minus 2 has only one real root and state the value of this root. Okay, so that they've told us a factor and they're just asking us to show that it has one real root only. Just wait a second before I continue. Okay, for part B, basically, again, the same thing, only one root and state the values. So first of all, we are going to find out the other roots, and that will be much more easier to explain for me. Okay, so x minus 2 here as a factor, x cubed minus x squared minus x minus 2. Okay, now that we have this, x cubed divided by x would give us x squared, and x squared multiplied by x minus 2 is x cubed minus 2x squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative, cancels down. Negative x plus 2, x squared is going to give us positive x squared minus x as it comes down. Again, x squared divided by x would give us positive x multiplied by x minus 2 is x squared minus 2x, in fact plus 2x. Positive and negative again, cancel this down and we get negative 3x. Negative 3x minus 2 here, negative 3 divided by, wait a second, I think I did a mistake here. Let me just check. Negative and negative. Negative x come down. X squared divided by x is x. Oh, sorry. This was supposed to be x squared minus 2x, and then it converted to positive. So this is positive x here. Then x divided by x is 1, so plus 1 here, and x minus 2. Negative x plus 2, and then this cancels out. Okay, so we have the factors x minus 2 multiplied by x squared plus x plus 1. Now you might ask that we are getting another quadratic equation which tells us there are two more roots, then why have they I said that there is only one root? Let's just explain it. If I were to factorize x squared plus x plus 1 to get the two other roots, x squared plus x plus 1, I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So a is equals to 1, b is equals to 1, and c is equals to 1. So negative b plus minus under root b squared 1 squared minus 4 multiplied by a multiplied by c divided by 2 multiplied by a, which is 1. So this would give us negative 1 plus minus under root 1 squared minus 4 is going to be negative 3 divided by 2. Now that you might have realized that we have a negative value inside under root, which tells us that this is a complex root. And well, we do not discuss complex values in O level AddMaths. So in layman's term, I'm going to tell you that this is not applicable and this is a wrong value basically. So we can say hence there is only one root. There is only, and as you can see, the emphasis on the word real is there. Only one real root, not a complex root, real root, which is x is equals to 2. That's it for question number 7. Proceeding on to question number 8. Let me just give a second. Oops. Okay. Yes. So fx is a cubic polynomial where the coefficient of x cubed is 1. Find fx when the roots of fx are this, and this, and this. Okay, so they have told us that fx is a cubic polynomial where the coefficient of x cube is always 1. So they've already given us the roots, -2, 1, and 5. Now we just have to find out the polynomial equation, and that's really easy because when we have this equation, we have x plus 2, x minus 1. In fact, I'll go a lot easier for the first part. When we have this equation, that tells us that we have x equals to -2, x is equals to -2, x is equals to positive, x equals to positive 1, and x equals to 5. And if you were to simplify this, we get x minus 5 is equals to 0, x minus 1 is equals to 0, and x plus 2 is equals to 0. And now you can see we have the three roots in the factorized form. And if I were to multiply the factorized form, what would I get? The unfactorized form. And what is the unfactorized form? It's the original cubic equation. And we're just simply going to multiply these three. I mean, this might be a headache because it is. So first value multiply, I'm going to use the FOIL method, FOIL. So first represents first, O represents outer, I represents inner, and L represents the last value. So first multiplied by first would give us x squared, outer multiplied by outer minus x, inner multiplied by inner plus 2x, and the last value multiplied by the last value is -2. This is multiplied by x minus 5. So x squared minus x plus 2x, I can first simplify it before multiplying again. X squared plus x minus 2 multiplied by x minus 5. Now again, multiply this whole equation, we get is equals to x multiplied by x squared, which is x cubed, plus x squared minus 2x minus 5 multiplied by x squared minus 5x squared, and minus 5x squared minus 5x and positive 10. Now if I were to simplify this, I would get x cube, x cube here, x cube plus x minus 5 is going to give us negative 4x squared. Negative 2x minus 5x is going to give us negative 7x plus 10 is equals to 0. But that won't be necessary because this is actually your answer, as this is the cubic polynomial where the coefficient of x cubed is 1. So we have found out fx for part A only. For part B, the same process is going to be repeated again. What are the three factors? X plus 5. Now you have to look at the first part. The same thing we are going to do here. X plus 2 and x minus 4. We have these three factors. We just simply multiply them. X multiplied by x, x squared, outer value multiplied by the outer value plus 2x, inner value plus 5x, and the last value multiplied by the last value plus 10 multiplied by x minus 4. So x multiplied by x squared plus 2x plus 5x plus 10. Again, simply just multiply it, and before you do that, first simplify it. Plus 7x plus 10 multiplied by x minus 4. Okay, so now this would be equals to x multiplied by x squared, which is x cubed, multiplied by plus 7x squared plus 10x minus 4x squared. 7 fours is 28. So negative 28x plus, minus 40. Simplify this further, x cubed plus 7x squared minus 4x squared would give us positive 3x squared. And then we have positive 10 minus 28. So this is negative 18x minus 40. And that is fx, which would be also your answer. Again, it satisfies all the things that is written in the question, which is, first of all, x cubed is 1. Now for part C, again, the same things, x plus 3 and x minus 0 is nothing, but you could write x minus 0 if you want, but that would be useless, so you would simply write x and x minus 2. Now that's going to make things easier for you, because first things first, you just simply do this x plus 3 multiplied by x squared, because you multiply these two values, x squared minus 2x. Now you can just simply use the FOIL method. So first value multiplied by the first value is equal to x cubed, outer value multiplied by the outer value minus 2x squared. Oops, that's not what I was supposed to need. So minus 2x squared, inner value multiplied by the inner value, positive 3x squared, and the last value multiplied by the last value, which is going to give us negative 6x. This is going to be equals to x cubed minus 2 plus 3 is going to give us positive x squared minus 6x. And that's your answer for fx, which is the answer. Okay, that is it for question number 8. For question number 9, again the same thing. It's just that they've told already that the cubic polynomial has the coefficient of 2 with x cubed. Okay, you know the answer. You're simply going to input it. So 9a, again the same thing. Now I'm going to again simplify this in front of you guys, because there's one factor which is x minus 2, there's other factor which is x minus 4, but what about the negative 0.5? Well, the thing is, if I were to just tell you roughly about this, 0.5 is equals to 1 over 2. And for the people who think this is hard, just simply, what you do is go in your calculator to the simple mode, just type in no modes. By the way, if you're just confused what I mean by simple mode, just open your calculator, just press the on button, and just type in 0.5 or whatever you want to, 3.5. You just get the the same value in the form of fractions. So that would make things easier for you if you want to factorize or do something else. So just write it in decimal form and you'll find the value for it. Okay, so x minus 1 over 2 will be the value for 0.5 in terms of fractions. So x minus, it's actually x is equals to 1 over 2, negative 1 over 2. When this negative 1 over 2 goes on the other side, what you do, 2 multiplied by x. 2x is equals to negative 1. Then 2x plus 1 is equals to 0. Okay, you could also write this as x plus 1 over 2 if you want, but I find it more aesthetic to write it in this form. I mean, it's much more nicer if you write it that way. So 2x plus 1 here. Now the thing is, again, we do the same process. for this one. And before we do that, let me just delete that. Okay, so x multiplied by first value multiplied by first value is x squared multiplied by outer value. Oops. Why is it underlining it instead of being there? Okay, so minus 4x inner value multiplied by the inner value minus 2x last value multiplied by the last value, positive 8. This whole multiplied by 2x plus 1. Before we do that, I'm just going to simplify this. X squared minus 456x plus 8 multiplied by 2x plus 1. Here, then we just simply multiply it again. So 2x multiplied by x squared is going to give us 2x cubed minus 6 to the 12x squared plus 8 to the 16x plus x squared minus 6x plus 8. Okay, so if I were to simplify this, we have got 2x cubed minus 12x squared plus x squared is negative 11x squared. Positive 16x minus 6x is going to give us positive 10x plus 8. Again, this is your answer because, again, we do not need any adjustments here. The coefficient of x cubed is 2 as recorded in the question. Continuing to part B, which is 0.5. So it's 0.5. We know that already. Wait a second. Yes. Okay, we've done it right. So again, it's 0.5. So the first vector is going to be 2x minus 1 because again, x is equal to 1 over 2. So 2x comes here. So this becomes 2x is equal to 1. And x is equal to 2x minus 1 is equal to 0 as the factor suggests. Okay, so 2x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 2. Now that we have this, first multiply 2x minus 1 multiplied by first value multiplied by the first value is going to be x squared. Outer value multiplied by the outer value negative 2x. What is negative 2? X, yes, negative 2x minus x multiplied by positive 2. Simplify this 2x minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 3x plus 2. Okay, let's simplify this further. 2x multiplied by x squared is 2x cubed. And then we have minus 3 to the 6x squared plus 4x minus x squared positive 3x minus 2. Simplify this 2x cubed minus 6x squared minus 6x squared is 7x squared negative 7x squared positive 4x plus 3x 7x again minus 2. So fx is equals to 2x cubed minus 7x squared plus 7x minus 2, and that is your final answer. For part C, again, x is equals to negative 1.5. So x is actually equals to, what is 1.5? It's 3 over 2. That's for reaching and just using my calculator. So yes, it's 3 over 2. So 3 by 2. So it's negative 3 by 2. So it's going to be 2x plus 3 is equals to 0. So now that we know this, we have 2x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 5. Okay, so again, multiply 2x plus 3. So x multiplied by x is x squared minus, what is here? Outer value multiplied by the outer value minus 5x. Inner value multiplied by the inner value minus x. Last value multiplied by the last value positive 5. Again, simplify this before we again multiply x squared minus 6x plus 5. Okay, now that we have this x squared multiplied by, 2x multiplied by x squared would give us 2x cubed plus, minus 6 to the 12 x squared plus 10x minus, plus 3x squared minus 6 3 is 18x plus 15. Simplify this, we get 2x cubed as it is here, minus 12x squared plus 3x squared is going to give us negative 9x squared, and positive 10 minus 18 is going to give us negative 8x plus 15. And that is your answer and the equation for fx. And that is it for question number 9. Okay, for question number 10, we have fx is a cubic polynomial where the coefficient of x cubed is 1, the roots of fx equals to 0, 1 plus under root 2 and 1 minus under root 2. Express fx as a cubic polynomial with integer coefficients. So again, it's the same thing. They've told us we have to find out the function, the cubic polynomial where the coefficient of x cubed is 1. Apart from that, they have told us the factors, and we just simply have to multiply them. But also we have to find out integer coefficients, which might look like a hard task considering we have 1 minus under root 2 and 1 plus under root 2 as two of the roots. The first root is easy, as we have done in the previous questions, x plus 3. But the rest of them would be x equals to 1 plus under root 2 would simplify to x minus 1 minus under root 2. And the other one would simplify to x equals to 1 minus under root 2. And so it would be x minus 1 plus under root 2. Okay, so I would write it in the same way, x minus 1 plus under root 2 multiplied by x minus 1 minus under root 2. Okay, now the next thing, we are going to multiply it, but we can make these things much more easier than multiplying x plus 3 by x minus 1 plus under root 2, and then for the same thing for the third root. We could do it a bit smartly. So x plus 3 is the factor which remains as it is. However, if you notice, we can group x minus 1 plus under root 2 here. And again, x minus 1 can be grouped separately here, minus under root 2 here. Now, it may not seem like a necessary step as the whole of the equation remains same. However, you will notice that we are now following a quadratic identity a plus b multiplied by a minus b. And why is that? We might assume x minus 1 is equals to a and under root 2 is b. The same thing is on the other side. X minus 1 is a and under root 2 is b. And now you notice this is being multiplying. So a plus b multiplied by a minus b. So if I were to simplify this, it's x minus 1. So instead of x minus 1, if I write a plus under root 2, instead of under root 2, we write b. And then the same thing, a minus b, we get the same equation. Now the thing is, we know from the quadratic identity that a plus b multiplied by a minus b would give us a squared minus b squared. So again, the same thing we're going to repeat it here. So this is equal to x plus 3. When we multiply these two values, we say a plus a squared x minus 1 whole squared minus b squared. What's b squared? Under root 2 whole squared. And we drop this in a bracket. So x plus 3 is here multiplied by, if we were to open this up, a squared x squared minus 2x multiplied by 1, so 2x plus b squared, which is 1 squared, minus under root 2 squared cancels to minus 2. Simplify this, this is x plus 3 multiplied by x squared minus 2x minus 1. Okay, Next thing we are going to do, we are going to multiply the whole equation. So x squared, x multiplied by x squared minus 2x minus 1 would give us x cubed minus 2x squared minus x plus 3 multiplied by x squared would give us 3x squared multiplied by negative 2x would give us negative 6x minus 3. Simplify this further. X cubed minus 2 plus 3 is negative 5 minus 5x squared. Negative 6 minus x is negative 7x minus 3. And that is your cubic polynomial equation, and that is the final answer. X cubed minus 5x squared minus 7x minus 3. It was something new, but nothing hard and to be afraid of. Okay, so proceeding on to question 11, which is similar to what we just did. Where is question number 11? Yes. Okay, the same thing again here. We're going to repeat it. Fx is a cubic polynomial with the coefficient of x cube is 2. Now we have the condition that the coefficient of x cube is 2. Then we have the roots, and then we have to give it in integer coefficients. I always suggest to underline the main points which the question asks you, so that it remains in your in the bag of your mind that you have to give these things top priority. Okay, now the same thing, 2x is equals to 2 plus under root 3 would give us the root x minus 2 minus under root 3. And the same for the other side, x is equals to 2 minus under root 3 would give us the root x minus 2 plus under root 3 is equals to 0. Now the same thing is going to be repeated here as in question number 10. What we're going to do is we're going to say x, in fact 2x minus 1 is the first root because x equals to 1 over 2. So 2 on the other side becomes 2x is equals to 1, and then it becomes 2x minus 1 is equals to 0. The 2x minus 1 is the first root. The second root is x is equals to x minus 2 minus under root 3, and the third root is x minus 2 plus under root 3. Okay, now again we simplify this as in the previous question. 2x minus 1, I'm going to group x minus 2 separately. And why is that? Because it will allow us to make the question much more easier to understand. So x minus 2 is grouped differently plus under root 3. Now we can simply just assume x minus 2 is equals to a while under root 3 is b. Same on the other side, x minus 2 is equals to a and under root 3 is equals to b. Now we know the identity, a plus b multiplied by a minus b is equals to a squared minus b squared. Now the same thing going to be repeated here. 2x minus 1 multiplied by x minus 2 whole squared minus b. What is b squared? It's under root 3 whole squared. And simply just simplify it. 2x minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus, we know how to open the a minus b whole squared. It's a squared minus a minus b whole squared. For those of you who don't know, a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So I'm going to do the same thing here. X squared minus 2ab, which is 4x, plus b squared, which is 4, minus under root 3 squared cancels out to minus 3. Simplify this further. 2x minus 1 multiplied by x squared minus 4x plus 4 minus 3 would give us positive 1. Okay, now multiply these. You just have to do what we have done in the previous question. 2x multiplied by x squared would give us 2x cubed minus 4 2s are 8x squared plus 2x minus x squared plus 4x minus 1. Simplify this, it becomes 2x cubed minus 8x squared minus x squared would give us 9x squared, And let me just cancel out what we have just written. Plus 2x plus 4x is 6x minus 1. And that is the cubic polynomial function. And that is your answer for question number 11. Okay, 2x cubed minus 9x squared plus 6x minus 1. Okay, now proceeding on to question number 12. Okay, so in question number 12, let me just adjust this. Okay, for question number 12, now they've given us 2x plus 3 the factor of the equation 2x raised to power 4 plus a squared plus 1 x cubed minus 3x squared plus 1 minus a cubed multiplied by x plus 3. Now the first part, and this is quite a different question than what we have done before. Question number 12a, first of all, we just simply use this factor 2x plus 3 is equals to 0. They told us to show that 4a cubed minus 9a squared plus 4 is equals to 0. And when they say show that, it's normally when the information is already given in the question. And that's the thing. So 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, x is equal to negative 3 over 2. The first root for x for the equation, this 2x4 plus dot 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 whatever it is given x equals to negative 3 over 2. So if we are supposedly to input negative 3 over 2 into the equation, we should get what the question requires. 4a cubed minus 9 squared plus 4. So what would be our root? X equals to negative 3 over 2. So 2 multiplied by negative 3 over 2 raised to power 4 plus a squared plus 1 raised to power negative 3 over 2 cube minus 3 multiplied by negative 3 over 2 whole squared plus 1 minus a cube multiplied by negative 3 over 2 plus 3. Okay, now simplify this. Negative 3 over 2 raised to power 4 is equals to 81 over 16. 2 multiplied by 81 over 16 is equals to 81 over 8 plus negative 3 over 2 cube. So negative 3 over 2 whole cube multiplied by nothing. So it's going to be negative 27 over 8 multiplied by a squared plus 1 minus 3 squared is equal to 9. 9 multiplied by 3 is 27. So positive 27, in fact, negative 27. Negative 27 divided by 4 because 2 squared is equal to 4 plus 1 minus a cube multiplied by negative 3 over 2. This is going to be negative 3 divided by 2 here plus 3. And that is supposed to be equals to 0 because we are using the root negative 3 over 2. If we input any root into the equation of which the root is, we should get equal to 0. Okay, so again, if I were to simplify this, 81 minus 27, if I were to make it easier, we are going to take the LCM of 8. So 81 minus 27 multiplied by a squared plus 1 would be written as it is. However, 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So 27 multiplied by 2 will be written. 27 multiplied by 2 is 54. So minus 54 minus 2 multiplied by 4 is 8. So 4 3 is 12. Minus 12 multiplied by 1 minus a cube. And plus 3 here. This, not plus 3, my bad. This is actually 1, so 1 multiplied by 8 here, 3 multiplied by 8. So 8 3 is obviously 24. 24 is equals to 0. Now simplify this. This 8 goes on the other side and it becomes equals to 0. So 81 minus 27 a squared minus 27, because this is being multiplied by both 27a squared and 27, minus 54 minus 12 plus 12a cubed. Again, you have to be really careful about the signs, because most of the students make mistakes in signs when multiplying in brackets. Plus 24 is equals to 0. Okay, so what we're going to do now is just write it down, simplify this 12a cubed, then negative 27a squared. This cancels down. And now we're just going to subtract it. 81 minus 27 minus 54 minus 12 plus 24 is equals to, or is it equals to, wait a second, 81 minus 27 minus 54 minus 12 plus 24 is equals to positive 12. So again, positive 12 is equals to 0. I think as we can simply take 3 as the common here. So 3, 4a cube, 3 multiplied by 4a cube minus 27 is 9a squared plus, again 4, 3 is 12 is equal to 0. When this 3 goes on the other side, we get 4a cube minus 9a squared plus 4 is equals to 0. And as you can see, this is the same equation that we have in the question for part A. So we're going to write hence proved. And that is it for part A. For part B, again, it might look a bit different. Wait a second. Part B is something we have been doing since the start of this exercise, and that's to find the values of A. Well, we have the equation which has 4a cubed minus 9a squared plus 4, and this equation is independent of x, so we can just simply find 4a cubed minus 9a squared plus 4, and now we just factorize it to find out the roots, as we have been doing throughout this exercise. So again, we take the constant value and assume what might be the factor. So x might be equals to positive negative 2, positive negative 1 over 2, or positive negative 4. Okay, so I think, and it could also be equals to positive negative 1. Okay, so again, when x is equals to 1, 4 minus 9 plus 4, that is not equals to 0. When x equals to negative 1, 4, negative 4 minus 9 plus 4. So this is also not equals to 0. However, when x is equals to 2, positive 2, 4 multiplied by 2 cube is 8, minus 9 multiplied by 2 squared is 4, plus 4 is equals to 0. 8 multiplied by 4 minus 9 over 4 is equals to 4, it is equals to negative 4. And then negative 4 plus 4 is equals to 0, so 0 is equals to 0. Hence, x minus 2 is a factor. Okay, now that we have this, we can just simply use the long division method to find out the rest of the equation. So x minus 2 here, and the rest of the equation 4a cubed minus 9a squared plus 4. By the way, what I prefer to do is, as you can see, we do not have anything raised to power 1. Like, we do not have a plus 6. We just have a squared, and then we have the constant value. So when I am doing these type of questions, I just simply just write it as 0a plus 4. So this constantly reminds me not to subtract values from the wrong thing or something like that. And you'll know as we solve this question, you'll know what the what would be the word, what the advantage of that is. Okay, so again, by the way, this is not x minus 2, and nor are we going to use the variable. I'm sorry for this. nor are we going to use the variable x here. It's supposed to be a minus 2. I just wrote it out of, um, we normally write x, so that's why I just wrote it. So a. This is and this is a. Okay, and a minus 2 is a factor. So again, 4a cubed divided by a is 4a squared. 4a squared multiplied by a minus 2 is going to give us 4a cubed minus 4 2 is 8a squared. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. Subtract this, cancels down. Negative 9 plus 8 is equal to negative a squared. Now again, negative a squared plus 0a. And if I hadn't write the 0a, I could have written plus 4 and down there instead. And that would have made confuse me or something, because I will get an extra value of a now. So 4a squared, negative a squared divided by a is negative a. So negative a is here. So we are going to say negative a multiplied by a minus 2 is negative a squared plus 2a. Now I can easily just write this down. This is negative and this is positive. This cancels down. Negative 2a plus 4. And now I can just simply, negative 2a divided by a is negative 2. So negative 2a plus 4. This becomes positive, this becomes negative. Both of these cancel out. And we have got 4a squared minus a minus 2 as another factor. So the first factor is a minus 2, and the second quadratic equation we are having is 4a squared minus a minus 2. Now again, we have to solve this like all the way through in the exam, but I'm just going to use my calculator to find out the answer, because it will make things easier for me. You could use any method you want, the middle term breakdown or the quadratic formula method. I'm just going to use the calculator for now. 4a squared minus 1 minus 2. So we have a is equals to, the first factor is 2. The second factor is 1 plus under root 33 divided by 8, or 1 minus under root 33 divided by 8. So we are just going to write 1 plus minus under root 33 divided by 8. And that is it. This is it for question number 12 and exercise 3.4, I guess. Yes. So this is it for this exercise, and I'll meet you in the next lecture. Thank you for watching.